It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. Off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego politico, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not the off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get it higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Politico, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This one not they off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my ego, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my ego diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Poor man picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Mayegun la wa mo la mo do 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 do. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun la wa mo la mo do 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 do. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará yìí.
Hello there.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun dayari Mayegun. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live. Sorry about that. That's my studio sound. Anyway, yes. Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Please share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them, Mayegun today, I have something for you just before we get fully into this. I feel like I should say that. Yes.
Ani esunraki.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú esunraki.
Mayegun ti dé.
Ani esunraki.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Lórí YouTube. Mayegun today. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to say some few words. Yeah, few words. Just before we get fully. First, I want to say thank you to every one of you, especially those of you who recently joined Mayegun's Diary Politico, either by recommendation or just by accident, now you are here. Now, let me tell you this before we get fully into it. Like I said, there is one thing that the criminals ruling Nigeria, there is one very kind of potent weapon that they normally use. And that weapon is fear. First, when you call them criminals, they will tell you which court convicted them. Oh, defamation. Oh, you are trying to ruin our reputation. Oh, you are trying to spoil our name, and every other thing they say. Because the system in Nigeria is a criminal system, and they are those who put them there, who put it there. The criminal system in Nigeria doesn't punish criminals, it rewards them. Now, in this day and time, the what do you call it? Using fear, intimidation, threats, and what else? Including even like death, to try to shut people up so that, they will be scared for their lives or their own liberty when criminals are those in power using that same instrument of government to hunt down those they call their critic, kind of. Now, to make it clearer to every one of you watching me, I am talking about myself now. I understood this very well. And that is why, for somebody like myself who is very much far away from them, I kind of enjoy some level of advantage, which means they, instead of them using the same criminal system to shut people like us up, right? They probably use blackmail and every other things to kind of, discredit people like us. But in this day and time, with the availability of information and how quick information actually spread, it has become obvious that using the instrument of fear, intimidation, violence, and every other thing associated with Nigeria and the criminals in Nigeria will no longer stop people from really exposing them and, in fact, standing by those expose. See, your rulers in Nigeria, your governors, your senators, your civil servants who are those in charge of running the government, your lawmakers, senators, and the rest of them. If you pick them from from A to Z, more than 99% of them are either past criminals, right, or ex-convicts, or any kind of crime that shouldn't even have allowed them to even near anywhere called their government, if there is actually a system that scrutinizes them. Now, because criminals have taken over Nigeria, especially now, so the the instrument of fear of trying to shut people up will no longer work, or doesn't really work anymore. Now, to make you understand very well, especially those of you who kind of still live under that fear. What you just said right now. Are you sure? Do you have evidence? Do you this and that? All of these are coming from the conditioning that they have put a lot of us in, which is, what if they come for me now? What if this or that? Nobody is coming for you because they are criminals and there are evidence, Boku, that they have not been, they are not currently in jail. Is not the fault of, it's not the fault of anybody, but the fault of those of you in Nigeria who have found a way to love your criminals differently. Your president, Ebola Tifnumbu, was an heroin trafficker. He was an accountant. They call him a bagman for drug dealers in America. You see that one, that is picture featured just now, right? That one was an ex-convict for credit card fraud, wire fraud in that same America. The difference between Eleyi and Tinubu is that the moment Tinubu got the hint that they were looking for him, he ran away from America back to Nigeria. And when he got to Nigeria, he joined politics straight away. That's what happened. Eleyi back then was younger and he was caught red-handed. He had a mug shot of him. I don't know how many of you have seen that. I used to have that on my screen here, but I'll look for it. And when you look at all of those who are parading themselves as whether your governor or your senator or this or that, you will realize that a lot of them are a bunch of criminals, but you have no gumpshot to actually say that to them because you don't want to be charged with libel. The young man that released that mug shot of dubious Dapo in Ogun State, the Ogun State governor, the young man that released that mug shot, a blogger, like a journalist, kind of, the guy spent more than almost a year in detention. Nigerian police arrested him. They locked him up for releasing the mug shot of the criminal record of Eleyi of Ogun. Now, I can give you other instances, but even if you don't go far, okay, there are already existing evidence of the crimes and the criminality of these guys, including that of Tinubu, established facts. So when they started the deceitful campaign for using religion at the time, I was wondering, like those who felt like they were defending Islam with Muslim ticket of this fraud, I was like, were they thinking that they were defending the drug dealer, by the way? Did they know that? Did they accept drug or druggies and the rest of them as a norm in Islam? But we know it wasn't about Islam or Christianity or anything. It is about leveraging on what they know keeps the people under control more, religion. While they are busy arguing among themselves, they won't have a chance to actually check the substance of what they are actually fighting over until it is done, like what it is right now. But fair enough, when David Int'l, who has been doing the Lord's work, by the way, David Int'l fed us with enough details about Tinubu's drug dealing, including his associates. You know what his lawyer said when this was presented at their tribunal? Tinubu's lawyer said, it was questioning a witness. And while questioning that witness, Ironepekun said, would the witness be happy if he is being harassed like PDP and Labour Party and everybody is harassing Tinubu right now for all this drug, forfeiture of money and this and that? Ironepekun was asking the witness in court that the witness will be happy if somebody is harassing him with all this allegation. You know what the witness told him? The witness said, well, I was never involved in drug dealing, and I've never been involved in trafficking money for drug dealers, and I never forfeited $460,000 to avoid jail. So I wouldn't know if this is an harassment, because legally, this is not an harassment. It is that you did this, you did that. Own it, stand up to it. Yes, I did it. So on the other hand, you know what they said? Okay, fine. The case they are talking about, Ironepekun told the tribunal that the case they are talking about of this drug dealing and all of that is over 10 years old. And because it's over 10 years, it shouldn't be any issue. All these people are just trying to, even if he did it, okay, fine, he did it. At a point, Ironepekun said the case in the US court wasn't against Tinubu. The case of the drug trafficking in America, the case was against Tinubu's bank account. And all the nonsense they fed there, even though they are telling their Lagos Abobaku, the illiterate Agberos, right, that are following them, they are telling them that no evidence was presented in the tribunal. Nothing was. The case was watery. But this were the case. This were the issue. So, Tinubu that has this compromise hanging on his head. We don't know the deal he's making with France. We don't know what the French government is promising him or promising Nigeria. They said he should go and attack Niger Republic. He wanted to fight America, France, Russia, proxy war in West Africa. So people were like, something needs to be done now. So just before now, you know the newspaper, what the newspaper is saying in France about Koolu. I'll show you. Okay, over this Niger Republic issue, there is more. International media are now digging even more into this mysterious man, this Guinea, somebody where nobody knows his father, nobody knows his age, nobody knows, you know what I mean? Like, this guy is a mystery, right? So in France, their newspaper, one of their top newspaper, published this. Bola Tinubu's credibility will depend on what he can do in Niger Republic by leading ECOWAS to go and fight in Niger. So we don't know what Tinubu has with France, because the issue in Niger Republic does not warrant war that Koolu declared. So I think this has now further made, has made other people all over the world to start digging into who is this guy? What could France have on him? Like, like everybody's shocked. Some other people in Africa were wondering, like, what the hell? How could ECOWAS even make somebody, their chairman or whatever, that person who is still fighting legitimacy, that the whole Africa knows that he rigged the election, he didn't win election in Nigeria. See, if you are looking at people and saying that, hey, you go cry and cry and cry, as you go be it. See, it is not even just about him being the president now. It is the fact that the entire Africa knows that he didn't win election. That one is different from those who are in Nigeria, Nigerians who knows that he didn't win. You can call those ones sore losers. They are just sore losers. The election was the freest and fairest. You are telling yourselves that, Abi? Fine. But that is not how the rest of Africa sees it. Okay? And these are not Nigerians. So to them, they are wondering, how could ECOWAS make somebody who still has a case, legitimacy case in court, be their chairman, and within 2 months, so within a month after being their chairman, he has declared war on one of the sovereign states. So you get? So they are wondering. That's the same with the rest of the world. Who is this guy? Like, what the hell is going on? Except for the Lagos Abobaku Soshogbo Alimajiris. They saw your campaign. They knew about the Bulaba. Town hall is different from Bulaba, Bala Blue, Blue. They saw all of that. They are mocking you. They are not seeing Tinubu as president of Nigeria. Fine. Obedient, I've said they are not seeing him. So you can call them any names and all of that, okay? They are those who rejected Tinubu and they continue to. Okay? Fine. And they don't see him as any president at all. Okay? But the rest of Africa don't see him as president as well. Like the ordinary people, not all these their elite criminal politicians, normal people. And that's an issue. Somebody without legitimacy want to lead the country to war over another lead Nigeria to war in another country because of legitimacy issue. Military no get legitimacy. So, therefore, the illegitimate INEC president of Nigeria will do the job. See, I'm going to read some certain things now, okay? This is a new report. And, when Oyibo do their own kind of thing, sometimes they pick all the pieces from everywhere. And just like we do on Mayegun's Diary Politico, they are coming to arrive at what we already know. And what this simply means is that facts are facts. Lies are lies. You can make up 1 million lies to cover 1 million lies, but you can never use 1 billion or whatever lies to cover the truth. Facts will always be facts. So, may I first state some of these facts before I read this to you. Okay? Number one, we don't know who Tinubu is until he declared that he wanted to be president. The rest of the world didn't really know him. Sure, you get? And when I say didn't really know him, it simply means that they didn't really dig into him. But the moment he declared that he wanted to be president of Nigeria, that got the attention of the world. Who is this guy? Including some of you too. A lot of the things you are coming to know now about Tinubu, some of them are sounding like they are coming from his enemies. People who don't like him. Blah, 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 that you are telling yourself, all right? But a lot of things you are hearing right now, you probably didn't know them about Tinubu until now. Now, the situation there is that when you have somebody like that as your leader, okay, it is like having cancer. Here you get. So when you have cancer, it starts from somewhere until it affects everything on you. Your organ, internal, external, everything. Here you get. Because the moment you have it, once it weakens your immune system and it gets to that, somehow, at that point, everything else will go to affect you. Now everything else will come in. That's exactly what Tinubu is. So Tinubu is like a cancer that until now, it was like a normal tumor. You see all these criminals, you know, conglomeration of criminals. That's what Nigeria is for these guys. The bad reputation that Nigeria has all over the world. These are the characters that brought it upon Nigeria. But they are there. They exist in different location, region, states, you know that in Nigeria. So the moment it goes national, it began attracting all other ailments, sicknesses, diabetes, COVID, blindness, cripple, and all those things. They started coming. And they are going to be coming like that. And you know the host. The host is Nigeria. Now, when all those things start affecting another, including the compromat, and they're going to be doing a lot of things through compromat. Compromat is the secret they have on name that we can, we can throw you to the dogs anytime from now. So what Tinubu has done is that Tinubu has become that boy that is part of the pain of Nigeria, especially since you started this, your demonstration of grace, Abi. So that boy, Ewo, instead of the boy to open and heal, it has now turned to a tumor. That tumor is a cancer tumor now, where despite what Nigeria is facing, Tinubu is not begging the rest of the world to come and help Nigeria end terrorism so that farmers can go back to their farms, so that Nigerians can grow their own food. This inflation, starvation, poverty, at least there can be a process where you can say it is now a rebuilding process. Every money you can get from everywhere. Nigeria is spending over 4 trillion naira on defense every year. It is skyrocketing. The more Nigeria spend on defense, the worse the insecurity gets. So what should be your paramount interest? If nobody says somebody gets your, what's it that they call them? Your nude picture. You know, say if you get my nude picture right now, if you tell me, say, Mayegun, oh yeah, hey, Ogbeni Mayegun, turn off that camera. Ito Sheheto, all the nonsense you are talking, oh yeah, stop, turn off the camera. If I see your message, I say, God damn it, now that's the guy who has my nude picture. Ladies and gentlemen, something came up, I need to go now, I'll see you later. I don't run away. They say, who be this person where they control Mayegun? I be the person get Mayegun's nude picture ni. I be the person catch Mayegun where Mayegun they do something. They say if the word here, na tear they go tear am. You go begin to observe. That's exactly what a compromise is. Oh yeah, Mayegun. Oh yeah. Hello, Mayegun. I say, okay, yeah, who is this? I want you to just stand there. Don't say anything. I want people to be asking, what is wrong with you? And I'm just like, see, please, I'm very busy. People are watching now. And then they'll be like, I said, stop talking. That's compromise. That's exactly what we don't know they have. We do know, but we just don't know how strong it is, or even more worse things that we don't even know. Yeah, we know what we know. What about the things we don't know about Tinubu? Somebody said that they wrote American, they challenged the FBI in America, okay? That they want the criminal record of Tinubu, yeah? And they want them to unseal the criminal record of Tinubu. All of this is behind the scene. And when the FBI will respond, this is their response. So, no, yeah. And they were more or less like, we cannot really do much because it's of nothing much anyway. So they have to withdraw. And that's what they make here. That is what they are currently using as headline in Nigeria, that Tinubu defeated Atiku in American courts. That's not what happened. Since the request being made from FBI is taking too long, and it's already the case, the matter of jurisdiction or adjudication, I've waited a column in the presidential election tribunal. So it doesn't, they don't need them anymore. So what I'm saying is that, who is this guy? Somebody said it could be a CIA asset. Okay? We have had a situation whereby Tinubu was quoted in one of those, wait till be this guy name again? WikiLeaks. You remember WikiLeaks? What's that guy's name again? How did that fly off my head like that? Anyway, you tell me his name. You shall know WikiLeaks. At a point, the Tinubu, American ambassador to Nigeria, and one or two other people, they were being interviewed. And in that conversation they had inside American embassy, where Tinubu was giving names, he was giving, he was mentioning people, mentioning events and what they are planning to do and the rest of that. God bless you, Edward Snowden. I think it's Snowden at the time. It's not Julian. Julian Assange is WikiLeaks. I think it's Julian Assange. That's the person we are looking for. Where Tinubu was giving intel about other politicians, including the military. They were in this Nadeco thing at the time too. Who is Tinubu? We don't know. That's why I'm going to give you this report. It's collection of others. So this one came from some, what do we go call them? Shall we call them, it doesn't really matter, but they have names. So take a look at this. Said from Cheetown Bagman to ECOWAS chairman, meet the former money launderer leading the push to invade Niger. Alexandra Robinstein, and then Kate Clarenberg, or Clarenberg, whatever. So I go to read them in part until I get to that is, that is money laundering, heroin trafficking, and it's going to be for the record. So thank you so much to all of you who have actually really joined right now. The copy of this is on a website called The Grey Zone. So, Mahdi read, for those who probably would rather just listen. And you too can read on the screen too. Since the overthrow of Niger's US-friendly government, West African nations of the ECOWAS bloc have threatened an invasion of their neighbor. Before leading the charge for intervention, ECOWAS chair Bola Tinubu spent years laundering millions for heroin dealers in Chicago and has since been ensnared in numerous corruption scandals. Hours after Niger's Western-backed leader was detained by the country's presidential guard on July 28th, Nigerian president and chair of the ECOWAS, Bola Tinubu, leapt into action, warning that the group of nations will not tolerate any situation that incapacitates the democratically elected government. As the chairperson of ECOWAS, I state without equivocation that Nigeria stands firmly with the elected government in Niger. So these are the first starts, yeah? 2 days later, ECOWAS imposed severe sanctions on Niger, and the bloc issued a stark ultimatum. If the newly inaugurated junta won't reinstall the ousted president in a week's time, the group's West African government will, by military means, if necessary. Right. Now, let's leave Niger a little bit. You know the whole story and that. We'll go to this. Bola Tinubu's career marred by drug trafficking. That's Nigeria president. All of now, where they try, they tell us that we should say good things about Nigeria. Is this the good thing we are going to be saying about Nigeria? You think the whole world don't know? Millions, tens, if not hundreds of millions of people around the world knows who Koolu is. And content like this, for posterity's sake, so that when your children say, were you alive then when this happened, you will be able to tell them you are one of those who stood against it. Even if it's a man from your tribe. Yes. Especially when it's a man from your tribe. Because this is it. Bola Tinubu, heroin trafficker, money launderer, the president of Nigeria, and they're going to say he's a Yoruba man. It is ideal for the real Yorubas who are real Omoluwabis, hardworking Yorubas. I'm talking about those of you who actually earn everything you own today. You didn't steal them. You didn't manipulate people. You didn't chance anybody. You worked hard to make your names. So somebody like this shouldn't be an example of who Yorubas are. And that is why, especially because you are Yoruba, you must be able to face your children and say, well, yeah, I stood up against that at that time. And be proud that you are doing so. Now, take a listen or read with me. Okay? So, for over 30 years, Bola Tinubu has been a major force in Nigeria's political scene. Give me a circle so that I don't go just be me. Okay, we'll share them like this. It's this tiny screen, Abby. So we'll do a math, just like that. Right. And the country's economy, with local nicknames ranging from the mother of the market, Iyaloja, to the godfather of Lagos and the lion of Bodilon. But his power inside Nigeria went largely unnoticed by international audience until 2023, when he became ECOWAS chair after winning the presidency in an election closely tracked by the US government. As president, Tinubu quickly instituted a regime of economic reforms backed by the US-controlled International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. Over the course of Tinubu's political career in Nigeria, the African operator has cultivated a close relationship with the US Embassy. According to a slew of classified State Department cables released by WikiLeaks, American officials relied heavily on Tinubu's assessment of the domestic political landscape. Share and follow. Una dey follow? Okay. Let me say that one new. Right. So, the ECOWAS chair's early life is shrouded in mystery, and even his exact age is unknown. Nearly every detail of Tinubu's personal history prior to his appearance in Chicago on a student visa is in dispute, including his legal birth name. Records from Chicago State University show that Tinubu received a degree in business administration in 1979. In the following years, media reports indicate that Tinubu was employed in some capacity at a number of major US-based multinationals, including Mobil Oil Nigeria, consulting firm Deloitte, and GTE, which was the largest communication and utilities company in the US at the time. Of the few details about the Nigerian president's early exploit, which can be confirmed, many are derived from a 1993 court docket naming Tinubu as an accomplice in a massive Midwestern drug smuggling operation. As journalist, David Udein was even kind of referenced, which is great. Court document from the U.S. District Court, Northern District of Illinois, made it clear that Tinubu amassed a small fortune laundering money for a heroin trafficking relative in Chicago, and that U.S. government officials ultimately seized well over $1 million from various bank accounts registered under the current Nigeria president's name. In 1993 report by IRS Special Agent Kevin Moss explained that there is probable cause to believe that funds in certain bank accounts controlled by Bola Tinubu represent proceeds of drug trafficking. Therefore, these funds are forfeitable to the United States. In the document, Moss described an extremely close working relationship between the future Nigeria president and two Nigerian heroin dealers named Abiodun Olashuyi Agbele and Adegboyega Muiz Akonde, the latter of whom was listed as Tinubu's cousin on an application for a vehicle loan. According to bank employees, when Bola Tinubu came to First Heritage Bank in December 1989 to open the accounts, he was introduced to them by Adegboyega Muiz Akonde, who at that time maintained an account at the bank. What's more, bank record indicates that Bola Tinubu also opened a joint checking account in his name and the name of his wife, Oluremi Tinubu, who had previously opened a joint bank account also at this bank with Audrey Akonde, the wife of Adegboyega Muiz Akonde. Moss explained. In several of the applications, the addresses used by Tinubu exactly matched those previously used by Akonde, which is in part on your screen anyway, right? And according to bank records, Tinubu opened an individual money market account and a now account at First Heritage Bank in December 1989. The special agent noted in the application, Tinubu stated that his address was 7504 South Stewart, Chicago, Illinois, the same address used previously by Akonde, right? Now, going on and on to, well, as the investigation into the money laundering scheme began to gain traction, Tinubu left the US and returned to Nigeria. Ultimately, Moss was able to speak to Tinubu by telephone on a number of occasions, and the special agent reported that the future president initially acknowledged his personal and financial dealings with the pair of drug traffickers. But in late January 1992, Tinubu advised agents investigating this matter that he had no business association or financial relationship with Agbele or Akonde. So this information contradicted his prior statement on January 13, 1992, when he advised law enforcement officers that the money used to open the account at First Heritage Bank and had come from Akonde, rather. So back in Nigeria, Tinubu had already begun to transition into the political arena. By 1992, he had been elected to the Senate And in 1999, he became the governor of Lagos State, a position he retained until 2007. At some point in his tenure, Tinubu established a relationship with the US Embassy, which would last for years to come. So do you now understand why America is not forthcoming when it comes to Tinubu's life in America? If Tinubu actually was using the name of a girl called Bola Tinubu, the daughter of a Gafaru Tinubu, the man who happened to be a senior brother to Abibatu Mogaji, the woman that adopted Shongolere Atonda, which later changed to Bola Tinubu. Now let me give you that phrase again, okay? Tinubu, the reason why America is not releasing the details of him, especially that questionable one, that Bola Tinubu that went to Chicago State, Western University in Chicago, or Western College in Chicago, that turned to Chicago University today, that person who actually got the admission into that university was a girl. The application showed that it was a female, not a male, right? And they said that name, if you now track it very down, very, very, you will hear that Tinubu, that's not his real name. It was adopted by a woman. That woman's name is Abibatu Mogaji. All right, that's not his original mother. We don't know his mother. We don't know his father. So Abibatu Mogaji adopted him, changed his name. And that Bola Tinubu appeared in America with a student visa, Nigeria passport. And the record in that university showed that it was a female. Meanwhile, that Abibatu Mogaji had a brother whose name was Gafaru Tinubu. Now, Gafaru Tinubu happened to be, also had a daughter who died. Her name was Bola Tinubu. Do you understand? So, Tinubu became their friend or their mole that was giving America the political landscape of Nigeria. What is going on? Who is the good person? Who is bad? Who should be friend? Who shouldn't? Behind the scene. And that relationship lasted up to today. Okay? So maybe that makes sense. It doesn't make it. Okay, well, it's all right. Let's continue. Now, okay, let me go back to WikiLeaks. Okay? So back in Nigeria, blah, 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 US Embassy friend for years, according to a trove of diplomatic cables released by WikiLeaks. I told you that at a point, some of the cables that they were sending back to America, they have to feed their country back when they speak to all these people. You know that? Okay. So in one of those things they are feeding back, Tinubu featured in some of these WikiLeaks. You go online, go and search for Tinubu WikiLeaks right now. Use your other device right now. Go and search for Tinubu WikiLeaks on Google. You will see all of this waiting Tinubu said about who in Nigeria to the American ambassador at the time. So this information is very correct, okay? But let's continue. So, but even his State Department allies couldn't help noticing Tinubu's penchant for dishonesty. One particularly noteworthy cable pointed out that the politician was known to play fast and loose with the facts and has been caught in the past embellishing his educational achievements. So America knows him very well. Right, let's go on. In the end, however, Tinubu's usefulness seemed to outweigh his casual relationship with the truth. And the future Nigeria president went on to provide the American officials with a near continuous assessment of the political situation in his country. One typical intimate meeting with Tinubu ended with the US ambassador to Nigeria commenting, as always, we found his take on the national political scene to be insightful. When the cables came to light in 2011, many Nigerians were shocked at the candor with which their elected officials spoke to Washington's envoys. Like they speak to all these ambassadors loosely. They talk so, if you hear waiting there, they talk about themselves, politicians in Nigeria. And when WikiLeaks released all of those cables back then, what they are saying about themselves, about military, about this, about that, you will know that you have shameless criminals as your leaders in Nigeria. And that is why I have no respect for them. Even if you want to, if you like, jump from a 10-story building, knock your head on the floor, I have no respect for them. You see all those free talk. Say you don't get respect, don't you have elders at home? Don't you have why do you like home training? Show some respect. I have no respect for them because I have an idea of who they are, not who they say they are. These are regular bunch of hustlers, criminals with power and money. And look at the mess they have made. Look at what they've made of it. Emi only respect for they can be as old as Methuselah. They are not people you should be respected. Even if your culture and tradition says you have to respect elders, these ones are criminals that grows old. These are rogues, criminals, career hustlers from northern Nigeria to eastern Nigeria to western Nigeria, all over the place. They are not leaders, they are dealers. Unfortunately, a lot of you love them like that, unfortunately. But we will continue. So they said when the cable came to light, many Nigerians were shocked at the candor with which their elected officials spoke to Washington's envoys. The willingness of our elite to divulge unsolicited information about the nation to US officials betrays an infantile thirst for a paternal dictatorship. Nigerian American professors and columnist Farouk Perogi, Perogi. But let's continue. Though Tinubu appeared to have escaped justice for his alleged role in a heroin trafficking conspiracy, accusations of corruptions would continue to dog the ECOWAS chair throughout his political career in Nigeria. Since leaving office as governor of Lagos in 2007, Tinubu picked every subsequent winning candidate. According to German broadcaster DW, which noted earlier this year that the tycoon is believed to be one of Nigeria's richest politicians, but the source of his wealth is unknown. Of course, you know the source of his wealth. Lagos State is family, sort of a family piggy bank. Why are you saying you don't know the source of his wealth? They are looting Lagos. He's the one collecting tax for Lagos State, and he's collecting his 30% from it. Lagos State, the biggest economy in the whole of Africa, put it that way, because it's so big. This guy is collecting 20% on the tax, and it's whatever they declare as the tax is what they declare. Why are you saying you don't know? His source of wealth unknown. He's been looting. They legalized it. So it looks normal. He should be in jail, of course, but he's not. So in recent years, clues about the origins of the fortune amassed by one of Africa's leading political players have begun to come to light. He made money from drug dealing too. In 2009, Tinubu came under investigation by the Metropolitan Police of London, who were probing allegations that the politician had pooled money with two other Nigerian governors to create a front company known as the African Development Fund Incorporation. Investigators alleged the unusual business arrangement was actually a joint effort to illegally acquire shares of Econet, a telecommunication firm founded by US intelligence assets, and Gates Foundation trustee Strive Masiyiwa. But attempts to probe the legitimacy of the transactions in question were sidelined when the Nigerian federal government stonewalled the British investigation, which ultimately concluded without a single arrest. To this day, Nigerian authorities have yet to release the evidence requested by UK authorities. This was before Tinubu became president. Oh. Now he's the president. Since 2009, he would have probably been arrested and jailed here in the UK like Ibori. But who was in government in Nigeria in 2009? Goodluck Egbere Jonathan. I'll give you one quick story. When Jonathan needed to contest again in 2011, sorry, I take that back. The person in government of Nigeria in 2009 was Yaradua, PDP. Sure you get? So, it was Yaradua who stonewalled them. Now, when Jonathan came in 2010, after the death of Yaradua, Jonathan was not interested in any probe of anybody. He just wanted to win election properly. The northern Nigerians were threatening him then that, no, it was their turn. It was the same Tinubu that came to his rescue in 2011. And that coming to the rescue of Jonathan in 2011 was the first time that Tinubu believed that he could be president of Nigeria. When he was flown to Abuja with that same presidential jet of Jonathan, then they flew Tinubu to Abuja. A deal of $2 billion for that 2011 election was struck. And having that conversation was the first time that Tinubu would sit inside the asshole rock and trying to save the man that was living there at the time, Jonathan. He saw him up close. That was the moment he knew that he could be president. And in fact, if the journey is going to go zigzag before that happens, he will do it. And that was the moment he went back to go and make that deal with the northern Nigeria that formed APC. The rest is history. Oh, here you get. But in 2009, if to say Nigeria responded at the time, Koolu, it won't be this American drug trafficking alone. No. Here you get. It would have been this too. But unfortunately, they didn't. And nobody was arrested. In one of those things, it in fact emboldened Tinubu. Yeah? That one of the properties of those who looted Nigeria and they came to UK to buy properties here. One of those properties under investigation, EFCC. The person who stole that was on the run. Tinubu ended up buying the property from those who stole it. And Nigerian government under Buhari, they just look away. We're going to get to that part. Give me 1 second, though. Yep. So investigators alleged the unusual business arrangement was actually, okay, I think we've passed that. So in 2011, in fact, it was Jonathan. So in 2011, Tinubu was tried before the Code of Conduct Tribunal in Nigeria for illegally operating 16 foreign bank accounts. Eager to avoid the embarrassment he had previously suffered when being photographed in court, the ECOWAS chair reportedly refused to take his place at the dock in a judicial hearing. But the unwelcome attention appears to have done little to rein in the politician's extravagant taste. And Tinubu once again found himself embroiled in a corruption scandal following an investigation into the luxurious 7,000 square foot mansion where the Nigerian president stays when receiving medical care in London. You see this house? This house was under investigation for corruption. Tinubu bought the house. And you see, He bought the place. Now that is the place where even he hosted Bokwari in the place as well. At a point, he hosted Bokwari, the president who is fighting corruption in Nigeria. Okay? But we'll go a little bit forward from their own update. So according to the Nigerian outlets, Premium Times, the massive villa in London's exclusive Westminster Borough, or Bureau, I became in London, Borough. Anyway, was picked up for a song by Tinubu's son, who somehow managed to purchase the property at a discount of approximately $10 million from a wealthy fugitive. Even though the seller's asset, including the mansion in question, had been frozen by a Nigerian court. Photos published on social media in 2017 show Tinubu posing inside the villa alongside Nigeria's president at the time, Muhammadu Buhari. So the current and previous president worked closely for decades. So yeah, and Tinubu has publicly claimed sole credit for Buhari's presidency. Why blah blah blah. But now let's go forward. The ECOWAS as a neo-colonial weapon. While ECOWAS was officially founded via the Treaty of Lagos in 1975, its official history notes the bloc's origin dates back to the creation of the CFA franc in 1945, which consolidated France's West African empire into a single currency union. Publicly, the move was described as a benevolent attempt to shield these colonies from the consequences of the French franc's sharp devaluation in 1945. Following the creation of the US-dominated Bretton Woods system, so as the French finance minister said at the time, in a show of our generosity and selflessness, metropolitan France, wishing not to impose on our faraway daughters the consequences of our own poverty, is setting different exchange rates for their currency. In reality, the introduction of the CFA franc, that is the franco, meant that Paris was able to maintain highly unequal trading relationships with its African colonies. At a time when its economy was ravaged by World War II and its overseas empire was rapidly disintegrating. So the currency made it cheap for member states to import from France and vice versa, but prohibitively expensive for them to export anything elsewhere or anything anywhere else. This forced dependency on Francophone West Africa created a captive market for the French and by extension, the rest of Europe. That dynamic, which has stunted regional economic development for decades, persists to this day. The CFA franc's continued dominance ensures West African states remain under the economic and political control of France. Those African nations are powerless to enact meaningful policy changes as they lack control over their own monetary policy. That the currency features so prominently in the authorized history of ECOWAS is instructive, because the bloc has long been criticized as an extension of French French imperialism. It was not for nothing that in 1960, then French President Charles de Gaulle made membership of the CFA franc a precondition for decolonization of Africa. Though ECOWAS is theoretically meant to maximize member states' collective bargaining power by fostering interstate economic and political cooperation. Such harmonization makes it easier for former imperial power like France to exploit and enfeeble their constituent countries. The bloc imposes a strict Western-approved legal and financial framework upon its members, and any state deviating from these rules is harshly punished. Are you following, guys? Okay. In January 2022, ECOWAS imposed strict sanctions on Mali, prompting thousands to take to the streets in support of the military government that seized power in January the previous year. The new government's efforts to purge the country of malign foreign influence saw a complete ban on French media imposed, a decision which was slammed by the United Nations but shared by average Malians. ECOWAS applied similar measures to Burkina Faso in response to a September 2022 military coup, which saw Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba removed after just 8 months in power. Though Damiba himself seized via military coup, there was little condemnation from Western officials and few suggestions that ECOWAS impose sanctions, perhaps due to the ousted leaders' pro-Western orientation and status as a graduate of multiple elite US military and State Department training courses. Since 1990, ECOWAS has waged 7 separate conflicts in West Africa in order to protect the West's preferred despots across the region. Meanwhile, between 1960 and 2020, Paris launched 50 separate overt interventions in Africa. Figures for clandestine activities conducted during this time are unavailable, but the country's fingerprints are plastered all over multiple rigged elections, coups, and assassinations that have sustained compliant, corrupt governments in power throughout the continent. As President Jacques Chirac remarked in 2008, without Africa, France will slide down into the rank of a third world power. This perspective was reaffirmed in a 2013 French Senate report, Africa is our future. Indeed, the mere existence of anti-imperialist governments anywhere in the region is intolerable to Paris. Luckily for the French elite, compromised figures like Bola Tinubu are still on hand to do their dirty work for them. The end. So, like I said, there is nothing they are going to say in there that is probably new. It's just to give you the perspective. For those who are asking, what exactly was he thinking? Like understanding what Nigeria is. What was he thinking when he probably promised his Western friends that he could lead them to war using ECOWAS? What was he thinking? We know they have compromise on him. But is that compromise so powerful that they will use everything as well, even though Nigeria is not under France? But we know, until now, where was ECOWAS? ECOWAS, they said, has been already taken over by imperialists as well. African Union. You know what? The African Union headquarters. Where do they have that again? Is it still in Addis Ababa? Is that where they still have that African Union? Their headquarters. Anyway, that building there, now China build them. The entire building, the offices, the everything. Who knows? Whatever they discuss inside that place, somebody, you know, a primary 6 school child or something, or school children are listening to them in China. So these guys have already submitted to this, who you call the imperialist or neo-colonist. But what is that of Nigeria, for goodness sake? That's the question, Abi. Anyway, the Senate of Nigeria rejected any war in Niger Republic. But ladies and gentlemen, even Niger themselves, like they did in Mali, they have now given the French forces that are in their region to leave Niger, because they have cut ties with France. So, whether Tinubu declared the war, or Tinubu listened to the National Assembly that told him that it is none of Nigeria's business. Brothers shouldn't be fighting brothers. We want peace. There's been too much bloodshed in Africa. We have seen all this, in the last 20 years, 2 decades, different armed groups across all this desert and all these countries. Different attacks, terrorism and all that. We want an end to all of this, and we hope a lot of you will also support peace rather than war, because it is not in anybody's interest. So they are giving, I'll read them out, I'll read them small. This is from the Junta in Niger Republic. What they said there, and the translation. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation of the Republic of Niger presents its compliment to the French embassy in Niamey, and following the statement by the highest French authorities in relation to the situation prevailing in the Niger since July 26, 2023, has the honor to notify it by decision of the Council National for the Protection of the Fatherland, the denunciation by the state of Niger, cooperation agreement and arrangement in the field of defense and security that follow, the agreement of February 1977 on technical military cooperation, in accordance with its Article 12 and the 3-month notice. 2, the agreement of March 25, 2013 on the legal regime for the intervention of French military in Niger for security in the Sahel, in accordance with its point 7 on 1 month notice, which is we are giving 1 month notice. The agreement of July 19 and on. You should you the read them, Sha? So man, not to take much of your time. So they want France to move all of their they've cut ties. Now they cut ties. France says no. You can't do that. You are not talking to us. So you remember what I just read earlier? I'm gonna give you something that I should give like a highlight. France and most of these Europeans, including this UK, they depend more on Africa. When they tell you Africa is the future, what they mean is that whatever you own in that Africa belongs to them. They are those who are going to price them. They are those who are going to tell you their value. And it is the value they decide that they call them is what they will be. And that's why they tell you Africa is the future. But the future they are talking about Africa is not for Africans. It is mainly for them. And with the way things are going these days, they would rather want cooperating government. Any government that is ready to cooperate with them will be called democratic government. Any government that doesn't cooperate with them, they would rather start war in your country or escalate the terrorists in your country until when you will be kicked out, until somebody who is going to allow them will be coming. I mean, what Africans are asking, they are not really too much, okay? If France value Africa, or they value this Niger, Mali, and all these places so much, and they don't want to slide into poverty if their hands are removed from the African resources. Then treat Africa with respect. You drawn artificial boundary for us. Africans cannot go to African countries like Europeans will go to European countries. In Europe, there is no artificial boundary. Everybody move to everywhere they want, whenever they want. They live wherever they want to live. But you drawn artificial boundary in Africa. And you turned us to the point that we can't see ourselves as same. Not like you succeeded in that. So treat Africa with respect. What you need to keep your prosperity is in Africa. Fine. Then treat us right with respect. When I say respect, with equality. This is what we have. Pay for their value. Cut off the criminals that you are giving home and shelter in the West after ripping their people off, after leading their people into poverty. They steal and do all of that. They bring them here. You cannot say you love Africa. You want to defend them, but you are more interested in ripping us off. So that's not how it should be. You know what I mean? When you treat Africa right, it's like when you go to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has just oil. You treat them with so much respect. Are they not treating them with so much respect? But look at it, what the framework they put on Africa. IMF, World Bank, France, Belgium, and this and that. They are those who are making monetary policies that continue to impoverish Africa, undervalue their resources. I mean, come on. So, yeah, what they have done to these French-speaking African countries and then English-speaking African countries is that through all these monetary policies, they would rather keep us. And anybody who wants to keep us poor, anyone from any part of Africa who is ready to keep them poor and let them continue to undervalue the African resources, anybody who says no, they are ready to move all the weapons and start killing us until we will reject them too. Do you understand that? Monetary policies. You take raw materials from Africa, raw minerals from Africa. You are giving us stipend. You are calling it aid. Is it not even insulting? France has cut all the aid to Niger. Wait in France, they give Niger Republic. They are giving them aid. They are donating money to fight malaria, money to fight poverty, money to fight. Are you kidding me? You are taking their resources, undervalue the resources, and you are giving them aid, and now you are cutting off the aid. So keep your aid. Are you that rich? If you are that rich, keep your aid. Let them rule their Niger. But we know that's not the reason. You have dollars. You have franc. You have, so it's ridiculous that they love us, so they love Africa so much that they want to help us stabilize democracy. It's crazy. Of course they don't. So now that they have rejected the Koolu, and it seems that Koolu's idea is not also popular, even in Nigeria. Sure you get? They seem to kind of feel like they are going to push on anyway, because this coup cannot stand in Niger. If that Niger coup stand, and France is not going to get what they are getting from, what do you call it? From this part of Africa, something needed to be done. So the UK ambassador, the UK representative in Nigeria, okay, was with Tinubu. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, before or after the National Assembly told him no. And they said they support him. But before I take you there, first, may I show you what the Africans are saying. I said it before. I said, if you are watching Mayegu and you say, you this Mayegu is because you, okay, the rest of Africa knows. They know Koolu. the drug dealer, illegitimate president of Nigeria, person with the election. And they are blaming the ECOWAS, like, what did they worry this ECOWAS? Somebody will not get legitimacy for your own country is leading all of you to come and fight the fight of the West and all of them for them. Watch this. This one is from Ghana.
Gentlemen,
it shouldn't be that one. There is a different one I actually want you to see. So give me a sec. And I think that, okay, don't worry, 1 sec.
Nigeria, you can't be saying that is a big brother, that you're going to be putting Niger in sanctions and they're going to be cutting off their electricity because they are an illegitimate government. We know this rubbish by now, the Honorable President of Nigeria. You're still struggling to get recognized yourself. So don't make it more complicated. We know who won the elections and we know who is in power. Now you get up on air and begin to talk like, hey, this is a compromise of democracy. Nigeria, you can't be saying that is a big brother, that you're going to be putting Niger in sanctions and they're going to be cutting off their electricity because they are an illegitimate government. We know this rubbish by now, the Honorable President of Nigeria. You're still struggling to get recognized yourself. We know who won the elections and we know who is in power. Now you get up on air and begin to talk like, hey, this is a compromise of democracy. Democracy, my foot. You're sitting in that chair without democracy. We know who won the elections. And Nigeria, you can't be saying that is a big brother, that you're going to be putting Niger in sanctions and they're going to be cutting off their electricity because they are an illegitimate government. We know this rubbish by now, the Honorable President of Nigeria. You're still struggling to get recognized yourself. So don't make it more complicated. We know who won the elections and we know who is in power. Now you get up on air and begin to talk like, hey, this is a compromise of democracy. Nigeria, you can't.
Sorry about that. I've got quite a few of them mixed up as well, but you know, sorry about that. So that's a Zimbabwean. The video I was telling you about yesterday. Oh, Mr. Man, calm down. You call yourself the big brother of Africa and you're cutting the electricity of Niger Republic. Like even you, Mr. Honorable President. We know who won the election and we know who is in power. Africa. So you know, so that you can know that you are Badorians. They are looking at you and they are crying. You are looking at yourself and you are smiling. It's a Yoruba thing. They say, one wo when tan wo lawo sun àwọn tan wo lawo sunkún gbogbo ayé ń wò yín lawo sunkún ẹ̀yin gora yín lawo rẹ́rìn lójú tí aláìlẹ́lẹ́ I mean kí ló ti pè ẹ̀yin lẹ́lẹ́yà you know. But let's go to Ghana. They have their own say too. Watch this.
You have in West Africa. They go and make Tinubu. They are not even patient enough to wait for the outcome of the petition before the court. They go and make him their chairman, and then they turn around and tell us that, oh, as for them, they love democracy. What kind of democracy do they love? In any case, who is going to benefit from military intervention in Niger? It's the West. If you take France, 1 out of every 3 light bulbs is powered by uranium from Niger. 1 out of every 3 light bulbs is powered by uranium from Niger. And yet, Niger is one of the poorest countries in the world. And our leaders are not thinking about this paradox. You understand? What they care about is going to install one of their colleagues who messed up so much. You understand? That's what they care about. If you take all of the French-speaking African states, all of them keep their foreign reserves in the Central Bank of France. The consequence is that these African countries borrow their own money and pay interest on their own money that they have borrowed. And West African leaders are not sensible enough to realize that the way out of this is to have a common currency for West Africa, which enables these French-speaking countries to break away from French neo-colonialism. They're not even sensible to realize that that is the key to solving many of the economic problems which confront us in the sub-region. They can't see that. We've been talking about a West African currency for how long? What have they done in order to promote that? And then they go and sit somewhere in Abuja and they decide that they are going to send soldiers. Whose children should go and die? To install a useless president. Whose children should go and die? You think that the soldiers, they are just there to die for any useless cause? They are not. They should try it. They should try it and send soldiers there. When the soldiers get killed, they will see the repercussions in their own countries. It has happened many times, the ripple effect. Why? All of these West African leaders who are meeting to make these declarations and so on, how many of them enjoy the popularity that these cool leaders enjoy? This young guy who recently returned from the Russia-Africa summit, you saw how the whole country mobilized to go and meet him at the airport. Let any of these West African leaders, Tinubu, Alassane Ouattara and so on, try to mobilize people to show support and see how many people will turn up. When ECOWAS sent a delegation to Mali to go and persuade the Malians to hand over, did they see the hundreds of thousands of people who poured out into the street in support of their regimes? Did they see it? How many of these West African leaders enjoy 10% of the popularity that these cool leaders enjoy? That must teach them a lesson. In any case, what is this democracy we are supposed to be protecting? What is this democracy we are supposed to be protecting? Who doesn't know that in West Africa, elections do not reflect the will of the people? Elections have become a joke. Vote buying is rampant. The use of violence in order to win elections is overwhelming. The things we do in West Africa, are these the democratic elections? They should stop wasting our time. What we do in West Africa is that the last election, how many people died? Nobody has even bothered to investigate how those people died. And they call this democracy. Ayawasu West Rogon. I met the victims of the Ayawasu West Rogon attack. Some have lost their legs. Some have lost their eyes. Some have been disabled for life. Not one person has been punished for what happened in the Ayawasu West Rogon. And then you turn around and say, we are running a democracy. What democracy? My brother, democracy, whatever it means, must deliver what the people want. If it doesn't deliver what the people want, forget it. It is not democracy. Democracy, if you practice it, must lead to improving the people's access to social services, education, health, housing, employment, and so on. Which West African country is doing that? Democracy is about doing the will of the people. Which West African country is doing the will of the people? And then the joke of it all is the statement which has been issued by government that as for Ghanaian soldiers, they don't like coups because they are professionals. What is that? Ghanaian soldiers took an oath to protect the constitution. What we are doing here and there, what is constitutional about it? In any case, only recently, there is this tape recording which has been released, which nobody denies its authenticity, in which senior security personnel were discussing how to facilitate the rigging of the next elections. What is a coup d'etat? A coup d'etat is when you conspire, you have in West Africa. They go and make Tinubu, they are not even testing.
That was some what? Wisdom, Abi. He said it all, didn't he? So, coup d'etat is when people who are not elected force themselves to power. Democracy is when the people choose their leader, and that comes with its own reward by giving the people what the people want. So what do you call a situation whereby the people's will don't count? Elections are rigged. People are killed during elections. Where do you put that? Is that also democracy? That was a very kind of, very nice argument there from that commentator from Ghana. In Niger Republic, at least we haven't heard from Koolu for the past 24 hours. Excuse me. We haven't heard from Koolu for the past 24 hours since they stopped him from going to Niger. And today is the deadline. Normal. Now this evening, they're supposed to bomb Niger Republic. Sure you get. But we haven't heard the Gbasgbos yet. But in Niger, this is how some of them are. Like Bagman said, how many of these guys, Tinubu and Co, can walk on the streets of any of their countries without any security or anything, and receive the same style of support that these juntas have been receiving in their countries? How many times have they used the ECOWAS for the benefit of those who are under the bondage of France? She ECOWAS country no say people countries they under the bondage of France. Imagine Nigeria under France or under UK, where all your money is here, even though it's a different way. They just steal the money, bring it here. But imagine that UK is like borrowing your money. I think it's so similar in a way. France was just so mad. France mad to go. All of now we day France, Africans in France. No wonder, a lot of you are so angry. Any small thing like this, when I don't they burn everywhere. I'm like, when I left Africa, the Africa that we know that now war every now and then, you went out there, Europe, you know, still they burn everywhere. If you like say your anger, don't they make sense now? So they used African money to build, they will use some of these Francophone African countries to build France. And the children of those who have died either in some needless tribal war, other wars that they have waged, and all of this ruthless governments in Africa and the rest, some of their children are growing up now and they don't speak French. You know, when they took our identity, see me where they speak English now. English. Abi Jebumano, Ijebuma. But when they came to Africa and they decided to take almost everything from us, the first thing they took from us was our language. So they called our language vernacular. It got to a point whereby you have to be proud to be able to not speak Yoruba. Vernacular. No vernacular speaking. How many of you remember that? Secondary school. No vernacular speaking. And some of my friends who are unable, like they are like Ijebu Gidi, like Konki Ijebu. They can't speak English at all. So what they do is that they say if you speak Yoruba vernacular, you will pay 1 naira, or you will pay 50 kobo. So if you speak 2 Yoruba, you pay 1 naira. If you speak 3 Yoruba, you pay 1 naira 50 kobo. So these ones, because they can't speak Yoruba, they can't speak English, and they want to speak Yoruba, you know what they will do? They will come down, they will say, how much is speaking 10 Yoruba? You say speaking 10 Yoruba is 5 naira, 50 kobo. So they will just bring out the money. You will now speak that Yoruba. So they will calculate it and say, okay, now, you remember that time? That's how much they conditioned us, you know, for those of us who grew up then. To the point that a lot of us probably grew up and we couldn't wait to start having children who can speak English. And you achieved that. A lot of you achieved that, by the way. You remember your own childhood when you pay for vernacular. Now you have worked very hard. Your children are now attending private schools. Junior, how are you? I say, what I cannot become, my own children are going to become it. You know, we are proud that our children can speak so much English. So, hey, Diola. So you don't understand Yoruba. Everything is English. Everything is English. Now my money they talk. I cannot be paying that much money, making my daughter will come here, speak Yoruba. No, my money they talk. Oh, yeah. Go and bring me that, go and bring me that tin foil. Oh, my tin foil. Oh, my tin foil. Go and bring me my curly comb. So oh, my curly comb. No, yes, now. Oh, my dancing. You are proud. They took all of that away from us. Some of us are now here. They are now calling us economic. Can you even believe that? They call us economic immigrants. They say we come to their country because we are coming from economically poor countries. And here we are disturbing their well-developed West, where everything is so nice and orderly. They go come say, oh yeah, we can't do English test, IELTS. English colonized you. They can't say maybe they do English test because they still don't even believe that the English is already like they made us second. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, it is what it is. It don't be my fault to say they speak English, and I can't say it's the fault of my own forebearers anyway. But yeah, that's what happened. They took that from us. So the children of these people, that have been conditioned, they now speak French. And sometimes you can see all their anger. Violence not they resolve everything, no. Sure you get. But there was this man in Odogbolu. And I won't forget this. Every time when we talk about situation that is beyond one's control, like you say, okay, well, this is beyond my control. There's nothing I can do about it and that kind of thing, right? So this man will say that whether you have, whether you're, or put it this way, like your eye is blind, you are blind, you are deaf, and you can't even walk, you are crippled and all that. All of that don't really matter as long as you are healthy. And you are like, how can I be healthy? When I have this disability, that disability, this one and that one, and I'm like, so, you know what I mean? So the situation that you have in Nigeria, it has gotten to that kind of stage that you just be like, we are still alive. At least we are still alive. Kind of. So yeah, for those who probably didn't see this coming, we want you to know that if the West Africa, the ECOWAS, as they will want to be seen as relevant, if they want to, these criminals should be able to come together and begin to work on how to free themselves, or even free this, instead of waging war against them. Like, having realized all of this, the bondage that they have been in, right? You would expect them to come together and say, oh, enough, we'll free ourselves, not intimidate them. But the EU have said, France will not leave. France have said, no, we are not leaving. And UK, of course, have said they will support and defend, support Nigeria in the attempt to reinstate democracy in Niger. I'll show you this one before we go to the next one, because we're going to go to that Niger.
Of course, we touched briefly on the situation in Niger. I made the point that the UK very much welcomes ECOWAS's and his indeed decisive action, his strong commitment to democracy, and the unambiguous message that violence is not the means to bring political change in any circumstance, and that the commitment to democracy in Nigeria and in the region is unwavering. This very much supports the UK's position. We wish to see peace and democracy restored in Niger, and we will of course continue to liaise with our strong friends in the region, membership of ECOWAS of course including Nigeria, as we seek to bring about stability, peace and democracy to Niger.
Audio is gone. My voice will come back. I'm sorry. When my audio is gone, sorry, when that video is finally gone, it will bring back my own voice. It's a terrible one. That's their buzzword. Peace and democracy. Peace and democracy. Like they are the ones who can define what peace should be and democracy should be. Do you get that? Those are the buzzword. Peace, democracy, peace. The people you want to go and attack said they are comfortable with this change. Why are you not listening to them? How about you listen to them? When they say, no, we are okay, we are comfortable with this. Not everybody will support the change, of course, not everybody. But when the majority says, no, this is what we want, stay away. Back in team, what's yours? If I'm from Niger right now, I'll be like, wait to be your own. Good enough now. I'm not from Niger because I'll be much worried than this. So more will go. So this guy, if you come to our country, you are attacking us. You are not helping us.
My African people, I believe you have already heard. The EU says they are ready to fund ECOWAS to undertake a military intervention against the revolutionary government in Niger. I want to say that I'm also very pleased and happy to say that our very own young, energetic and patriotic leaders, Ismail Traore and Mamadi Doumbouya and Assimi Goïta, are saying any attack on Niger, any military intervention by ECOWAS against Niger shall be a declaration of war against Burkina Faso, against Mali and Guinea. But now that is not all. I think we all need to make it very clear that any military intervention by ECOWAS in Niger will be a clear declaration of war against the youth of Africa, because we know the old guard are only serving the interest of the imperialists. Now, through this video, I want to urge our very own African patriotic leaders and revolutionary leaders, Ismail Traore, Your Excellency Mamadi Doumbouya, and Your Excellency Assimi Goïta. It is time for you to organize a foreign legion of African youth for Niger, so that we meet the white imperialists pretending to be ECOWAS on the battleground and we sort our differences once and for all. These people enslaved our ancestors. They stole our minerals, and they are still stealing our minerals in Congo, in Somalia, in Benin, everywhere. And they have been using our grandfathers, our fathers, pretending to be ECOWAS, pretending to be African Union, pretending to be IGAD, and all this rubbish. Now is the time. President Ibrahim Traore, President Mamadi Doumbouya, President Assimi Goïta, create recruitment centers for African youth all over Burkina Faso, all over Guinea, all over Chad, all over Mali. Let the youth come and defend the continent. Personally, I'm on the next bus, only asking myself, where is the destination? And we are coming to defend Niger, and we are coming to defend Africa against imperialism. All these old guards have been working for decades for the Western oppressor. They are the slave traders who sold our grandfathers, sold our fathers into slavery. IGAD has no moral authority to comment on what is going on in Niger, because when the people of Niger are suffering, they don't say anything. When the people of any country are suffering, they don't say anything. So it's African Union. Countries have tried to change power by ballot paper, and this African Union fools send their observers who come and legitimize irregular elections. Now, when we find the only solution as schools, and then they want to say they have a better solution. They don't have any better solution. Let them come and meet the African youth on the battlefield. We have nothing to lose as Africa, but we have something to gain. Our legitimacy, our supremacy, our pride. So, President Ismail Traore, President Assimi Goïta, and President Mamadi Doumbouya open the centers for the Foreign Legion of Niger, and let's get the youth ready before EU sends their money to IGAD, and IGAD, the few fools within IGAD make a lot of money and cause inside.
Somebody said, Otidojo and saying you. Of course, I'm sorry if you don't understand Yoruba. What that means is that the situation has got, that message is very vital, and I'm glad a lot of other Africans are also watching here, right? If you are not Nigerian and you are watching as an African from elsewhere, let us see you, because I know you are watching as well. You see that call he made? Now, so that they do, Amo, that's how it's done, you will be so surprised how many people will leave Nigeria for those recruitments when this whole thing actually starts, if they are not thinking it. How many Africans will leave other African countries and they will find their way to Burkina Faso, find their way to Niger, find their way to all these places? You will be surprised. The total army of Niger is about 10,000, Abi. Suddenly, they will have more than 1 million army, 1 million soldiers cut across the region, ready to rumble. I'm just saying this because, yes, this is not my Biafran brothers will say, this is not 1960. This is not 1967. You see, the situation now, people are more aware of a lot of things, right? But if push come to shove, the same social media will do the job of that recruitment and mobilization. And somebody said it's Africa awakening. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But something is going on, and it is spreading. And I'm happy that I'm alive to witness that, by the way, just so you know, okay? Now, talking about other things happening elsewhere that you haven't heard from ECOWAS. Elections are being rigged. ECOWAS will go there and say the election was free and fair. Sure you get? ECOWAS will know that, like all this slavery of these Francophone countries in Africa, yeah? ECOWAS know about that. There was never any record of them trying to even make any move for economic, you know the name, economic community of West African states. It was meant to be like, West Africans were supposed to be like community building economy together. But poverty that they build together. Mad people everywhere. You see that call, now so that they do, they will mobilize thousands, if not millions, if they should go ahead, which I think they are still going to try find another means of going ahead. I've said that before. I said a lot of you are looking up to Russia. Yeah, Wagner Group have signed this and that. All those ones, consider them as part of, the normal details that are just out there to further push the propaganda from both sides or all end, right? There are more soldiers that are going to pick it up. Not these days and time, anyway. The moment it starts, the other thing is that you want to go and attack Niger. Your soldiers are part of them. Do you think your own country is going to be just fine? You're just going to be fine. Yeah, there are other people dying elsewhere. I haven't seen ECOWAS come together to say we need to pull our soldiers together and chase these terrorists. For example, see this one. Oh. Now, Nigeria be this. Oh.
And there's one thing that I want you to know. I'm begging you. Now additional 3 widows has been added. Just in one night. Receiving killing almost every day. And they will say I should keep quiet. I will not keep quiet. Oh, it's better for me, for the security to arrest me and take me to their cell It's better for me to be there studying my Bible than to be at home. Boring people on daily basis, moving from one village to another. And the government is not doing something to know about Mahanga. This is a stronghold of the terrorists in Plateau. It is from there they moved to every village. It is from Mahanga they went to Mangu. And the government are not ready to do anything.
That is Plateau State in Nigeria. Between May 2023 and July 2023, they slaughtered over 400 people. I didn't see the anger of Tinubu. I didn't see the mobilization of soldiers and all of that to chase these people and capture them for the first time, right? Capture these killers, display them. These are the people killing people in Mangubo. No, the politics of they can't find them. They are looking for a solution. It's still ongoing. And somebody is going to Niger Republic that people are celebrating the removal of a criminal presidency. With your only legitimacy, I'll go to the newsstand in Lagos again. For those of you who listened to Alaji the last time, right? The street knows that if Tinubu did not win election, even right there in Lagos.
To capture and arrest such. There's nobody you booking for. You are president to book since you are in a APC or in a government, and you are telling us you want to go and rescue Niger. Niger that is happening. The citizens are happy now. Yes, they are even rejoicing, celebrating. The military takeover. The military is coming there to rescue their life because the so-called president they took over from has been personalizing the so-called resources to his personal use. And you see, people are rejoicing, and you, that is illegal in Asoro, that the election that brought you in is illegal, is unconstitutional, he lacks electoral guidelines.
Well, I think we are yet to receive the final judgment from the.
But we have seen the
electoral petition
we have seen
judges.
The summary, and we have seen the surface. What else the judiciary want to use? If they want to use the technicality, they will meet us here. APC has said this time around, no matter how active. Because this called Tinubu has no qualification. You said everything is born. Don't you have a CTC certified true copy of your certificate? Even the so-called US, you are a drug dealer. You have been found guilty. Even in the so-called the Chicago State University, you are claiming they say it's a female that owns that certificate. What else do you want to tell us? Is it your name that is in the question? Is it the election that is in question? Totally there. I want to say what judiciary defense want to give him the justice. If you fail to give the masses, because that fight is for masses.
That justice belongs to the masses.
Yeah.
And everybody is interested in that case.
Nigeria is into it. We are waiting and positively
to capture.
Sorry about that. The street knows. It is not just social media. Maybe you see that one, now newsstand for Nigeria, but inside Lagos. When they said all eyes on judiciary, they know that Tinubu didn't win. They believe that he's an illegitimate president. So if you are thinking that for those of you, Lagos Abobakus, Oshogbo Alimajiris, the humbled slaves, sophisticated morons, the crumb eaters, crumb chasers, ass lickers, all risers, And your aunties and uncles abroad, though, the abroadian le bati dioti. You think it's just some people who don't on social media. You think it's on social media that they are saying Tinubu no be president. Eh? The street is also waiting. I just thought I should tell you, Neo. They said the judiciary, they know. People know more now. And I don't know what Peter Obi gave them that calm all of you down. But make I tell you this for free, oh. Like they said that they have all eyes on judiciary. Baba, what that means is if the judiciary come out and then legitimize Koolu, they can't give one wuru answer. Ninja Ojinos in Niger. Just a bit of what do you call it? Stone throw. You will experience it there too. The street knows. He didn't win election. He's an illegitimate president. He's like a coup. That is called civilian coup. That's what happened in Nigeria. How can a civilian coupist, person who use coup to be president of Nigeria, how can he say one lead war in another place? Madman. Eh? Just thought I should drop that in the middle. Until when I came across Adeboye, Baba Adeboye, using the situation of that lady that if Tinubu withdrew her name. Remember that lady, Betty Shetty. Yeah, Betty Shetty. Shetty, like Shetty. Yeah? Now, Adeboye, they use and do prayer points for their church. Before I go.
According to Psalm 75, verses 6 and 7. God is the judge. He is the promoter. When God promotes you, you are promoted. I was listening to the news, and I heard of someone who had been nominated for a ministerial appointment. And she got to the Senate, where she was to be screened, only to be told, your name has been withdrawn. That's not my God. When my God promotes you, you are promoted. When he promotes you, you don't need any screening.
What shall I say unto the Lord?
Yes, Lord.
All I have to say,
Thank you, Lord. What shall I say? Thank you,
Yes, I am thinking of taking calls, which is quite good if we do, but we only have just about an hour to do that. So I'll keep the line. Now, I'm going to go make myself another cup of tea. So when I get my tea back, yeah, so we have over 4,000 of us on YouTube, and I'm happy that at least over 1,000 of you have managed to drop your offering. Please do that, okay? If you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed to my channel as well, especially on YouTube, please do now, and you will be glad that you did, okay? So, Osita, if you are calling me tonight, please, and you want to, you want to hype me, this is the type of hype I want, so that you go, yeah? If you don't hype me like this, Osita, no calling tonight. We'll do them some other time. Meanwhile, don't go anywhere. I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea. When I get back, I'll start taking calls.
Incumbent traditional prime minister, His Royal Highness Igwe Dr. Honorable Engineer Pastor, His Excellency Ambassador Igwe Uwezuoke, eze onye mepim nke izizi African tallest man, otu onye na-ekwomolu a osisi kankwụ ọkwụrụ ọka, fine man without pimple, ọ natara dike mma nke mbụ, okwuru ọra dike erigharịrị, otigbu ụdị mkpa dị na nwata ekwe efi ọnụ oji efi eme ọgọ. Incumbent traditional prime minister His Royal Highness Igwe Dr. Honorable Engineer Pastor, His Excellency Ambassador Igwe Uwezuoke, eze onye mepim nke izizi African tallest man, otu onye na-ekwomolu a osisi kankwụ ọkwụrụ ọka.
70 years old man. Is that you? Jesus is Lord. Is that you? 70 years old man. Is that you? Jesus is Lord. Is that you? 70 years old man. Is that you? Jesus is Lord.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone who stayed back, okay? And if you are still here and you haven't really liked the broadcast, please do, especially on YouTube. I have 1,200 people who have actually liked. And if you have already done it, don't worry. Maybe YouTube, they count them. Once they count them, they go put them, okay? Just do it once. Don't do it again. Once. That's it. I have a caller. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Ojindame Moko.
Yeah.
The highest, the pastor, the prince, the DO, the lion of the tribe of Judah.
No, that's
you are the
that's,
one and only, one in a million.
No, that one is excess. Well, you know, I think Osita will do it better. He's currently rehearsing it. Let's wait for Osita. How are you doing, Baba?
I call you Osisi Kanku.
I like that one because I know that one.
You are the Iroko that we have. The tallest tree in the forest.
Thank you, even though I'm short.
This is you know my name, but I want to change it now because I want you to be calling me Zeus. I'll be using Zeus now. Zeus, the god of war.
So that one Zeus. Is like Zeus is one Greek god that I'm trying to remember who he is, but I'll stick to that anyway. Please.
Yeah, he's a god of war.
Is there a god of war? No, Zeus. I've read about that, but yes.
Okay.
I'll stick to that.
What I want to say right now is we in Africa, there's something that is trying to change, and I'm so happy about it. Many people they say like when I read my political science, they say that the democracy is better than the best military regime.
That's right.
But there is something I'm trying to see that I think is changing. Africans now are trying to own their own destiny. And democracy is not like it's not working for us because what the Westerners use democracy for is to bring in their puppets. When things go wrong in Africa, they don't do nothing. Genocide happened in Africa, they don't do nothing. No. But whenever it comes to us trying to find a system that works for us, without them, they call it, yes. If you look at Muammar Gaddafi, he created a very wonderful economy and system in Libya. He was using the military, but the people in Libya were enjoying it. Anytime we want something that is our own system of government, they call us terrorists. Even Martin Luther King was called a terrorist. Anytime the Africans are not suffering, they're defending their rights. The Westerners that want us to be poor and broke, and look at Tinubu, they didn't say nothing. Look at African government that are their puppets. They don't do nothing. But whenever Africans want to stand up for themselves, for example, France, they pay $11 for the uranium that they use in powering all their stuff.
Wow.
But they sell it for like 26, like double the price. They're ripping us off. But now that we say no more, we want to make sure that nobody sell you uranium no more. We want to sell that stuff by ourselves. Now we're bad. Now they're gonna call Tinubu and the rest of them. How will they even justify Tinubu election? Anytime we want to do anything good for Africa, we are called. Look at Patrick Lumumba. Anytime any African stand up for Africa, we term terrorists. We are the only people that when we stand up for our people, the Western world don't like it. But I think Africans are getting more educated now that we want to stand up for our people. We cannot keep on going on this way. It's not fair. I can tell you something now that I say I'm Zeus, right? So I can be more, I explain myself more.
Please.
Mayegu, I came to this country, I enlisted because the only way that you can land your enemy is to go to the deep core. I enlisted in the military. I served this government, I served the United States government in the military. And when I'm done, they say, no, that's not good enough. We want you more. I did everything for this country and I lend them. I can give you just one secret because I'm Zeus now. I'll give you one secret. My secret is that you see the Ebola. Ebola was discovered 1976. It's a biological war weapon. They did not use that. They didn't use it. They kept it. And they waited. West Africa have the most growing youths in the world, numbers, and use what is youth? Power. That's why they create puppets that don't create no jobs for the youth. Youth is power, weapon, everything. And they decided to take that's why we say we don't need no foreign aids no more. They take their doctors, they went in there, they injected our people with Ebola. And they already have the antidote to cure their doctors that got it. They watch my people die in millions. Mayegu, I was in a meeting like that, and I have to quit that job, even though I was making money out of it. I said no. To them, I'm an American, but to me, I'm more African than American. So I rather don't feed off making money with African body being buried. So I quit that job. Yeah. So there's so many things they're doing against us. They want us to be poor. They like the way Africa is. They love our resources, but they don't want us to have people that will say enough is enough.
Thank you so much.
I wanted to write a book. Oprah came to me and told me to stop. Wow. Because all our prophets, we need you. Wait till you turn 50, 40 before you can do this shit. She stopped me. I could have written a book, but I want to stop and just hit them below the belt. So I'm glad that I be in your platform. But Tinubu retired all our military folks, the ones in the high ranking. Why? He gave them bulletproof cars. He gave them money. Why? Because he's scared that they're going to be something like this happening to him too. We've had enough. Thank you so much, Mayego. I love you
too, Zeus. I appreciate this, right? And you stay safe, please. So I have another call on the line. Hello there.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Your line is really, really dodgy. Well, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you too, but it's a little bit croaky somehow. But I'll let you just talk, okay? So that we can use the time we have before it goes off.
All right. Oh, yeah, it's Ifeanyi. Can you hear me now?
Oh, Ifeanyi, yes, I can hear you. You don't sound similar.
Oh, so sorry.
No, it's all right.
It's probably my.
Yes, if you can possibly, it's very croaky somehow, cracky like that.
Is it still like that now?
I think it stopped.
Okay, it's better, right?
Well, just do your thing, okay? Right. I'll let you continue, please. Just continue.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. Mayegun, whether you are a Christian or you are a Muslim, if you read the two holy books very well,
Yes.
Men has always conquered men. Let us not pretend it's not
It's always
it's
been.
always been
Yes.
the process. That's always been the process. If I, as an African, if African were the first people, we would have done worse, actually. We would have done worse. If we are the ones running the world, we would have done worse. So let's not pretend it's not how it's done. So here is the main problem. It's very good to stay wherever we are in the West, East, wherever we have traveled, we have left the motherland to. Then when we get there, we feel in our comfort of our home and fight the way we are fighting. But we should remember that when we leave only the vulnerable in the society and those who cannot fight or fend for themselves or do so many things for themselves, it's easier to stay abroad and blame those people for not doing anything. But when the best brains are living, people with the best ideas are living, this is bound to happen. The most vulnerable are the ones in the Nigeria. So in as much as we are fighting from outside Nigeria, most of us should start thinking on how to stay home. Because I myself, probably before December, I'm going directly to my village. I want to go and start my own fighting from there. I want to go and start from my own village directly. As I'm telling you now, this November or December, I don't go my house. I want to start my own fighting from there. Because I was looking up the local government allocation that has entered my local government for the past 12 years, and my eyes got wide open. So I'm going there. When I get there by November, I'll start asking questions. So if they give me there, my children can wake up one day and say, this is actually why or how our father died. Thank you very much. Let another person speak. Thank you
so much. I know the line is not so, the usual. But thank you. I have another caller, by the way. Hello there.
Yes, one more.
Osita. As talks, I don't go answer you. If you know, kind of hype me like that, man. But I'll give you your space.
The man has said everything, but there is one particular one he didn't say.
Right.
Oputobie.
What happened to your voice, Osita? Seems off.
No, I can hear. Can you hear me now?
Right, I can hear you now. It's better now. What did you say?
Yes, I said the man, there is one he didn't say.
Right.
He did not call Oputobie.
Oputobie.
Oputa Obie, which is when you come out, everything is when you come out, everything is settled.
Right.
So
I don't say that you get my button for hand. So I decided to I'll show you again, right? Because I was like, man, Osita should be kind of hyping me like this. Like, come on, like, if I wake up every morning and somebody just say, the highest prime minister, the tallest man like Nico like this.
Incumbent traditional prime minister, His Royal Highness, Igwe, Doctor, Honorable, Engineer, Pastor, His Excellency, Ambassador, Igwe Uwezuoke, Ezonye Mepimu Nkisisi, African tallest man, Otuonyene Kumolua, Osisi Kanku, Okuroka, fine man without pimple, Onatara Dikem Mankembo, Okurora, Dikerigari, Otibu Dimpa, Dlamata Ekwefionu, Ojiefie Mogo.
Did you see it? He did. Yes, he did not call that one. That's the reason I included that one in it.
How you doing,
Sha? So that anyway. Yes, you have done a wonderful thing, and you will always remain a blessing.
Thanks, man.
To the eyes. I mean, to the eyes of the ones that cannot see, even to the ones that cannot even hear, and even to the ones that has mouth but they cannot speak. You have really, really brought a lot of people to a place of understanding.
Thank you.
And that is the reason most of the time even there is no way a father and a son will agree on anything, but believe me, you are a brother.
Thank you.
God knows what I'm saying. No sentiment.
Thanks, man.
So yes, like the previous caller, he was right that they buy from us $11 of uranium, but there was a little of mistake there. They sell it for about $200 and something and not $28 or whatever. They sell it for $200 and something. Even it was yesterday I came across that information. So you will see the world where we live. And believe me, when people, the last caller too said, the last caller said that if we're the one running this world, we will have done worse than that. It's a lie. Because we've existed before they came to Africa. Don't think we've existed. We've been in existence before they came to Africa. We lived as one. They were the ones that introduced slave trade in Africa. We never sold ourselves to anybody. Well, rather, what we were doing, we were moving around Africa. We were looking for a place where it's more conducive for all of us, for any of us to stay. That is what happened in Africa until they came. The wars that you were seeing in Africa was as a result of the European and the Arabs into Africa. They introduced slave trade. That is when you had all these things. In Africa, before, what our forefathers were just looking for is a place where they can actually exist, where they can come on their own. When you listen, when you go to villages and you talk to elderly people who are inclined with who we are, our identity, he will tell you that, oh, this person from this place, that, oh, they moved to another place. And when you look at the other place that they moved to, they will tell you that they moved to another place, which is currently in another state. Meanwhile, you guys are from Imo State, but they tell you that somebody came all the way from the other side of the country, from Calabar, to come and stay here. That is how they formed this place. In those particular history, you will find out that sometimes they will, like in my place, they will tell you that people from Ibuzo, at a time, we were not intermarrying, we were not marrying each other, because they will tell you that we come from the same place, that we are brothers. So that is the way it is. We wouldn't have done worse. These people came for some time too. Civilization came from our side, because in the history of Europe, you go and read their history, they were living under the stones and mountains. Meanwhile, we were building our own houses with our palm fronds and whatever. They got all those technology from us. So the truth is that, like you said, we left our own identity and embraced another thing that we do not know, we know nothing about. And that is something that has cost us a lot of problems. So that is that. Now, I want to talk about the issue of Koolu going to this thing. Believe me, I know he's watching this program, but I'm going to be his hype man to go for that particular thing he wants to go to.
But the Senate has
I give him all the,
so he can't go anymore, can he?
yes, I give him all the courage. I want him to override the Senate the way they've not respected the rules of rule of law in Nigeria. Let him not respect anything. Let him go. I want Dele Alake to stand like a good servant that he has always been, to advise him, to push him, let him go. Sometimes people think that if you look at Nigeria and Biafra war those days, nobody believed that war was going to last 3 years plus.
Honestly.
Nobody.
Gowon said it will soon be over. It will be over in 24 hours. That's what he said. It will be
24
over.
hours.
We are just going there. We are going after these rebels, and it will be over in 24 hours.
4 hours. So even when they do not have anything, and if you look at that particular point in time, it's different from what you have now. Because when you look at the situation of that country, these people are already on ground. The Wagners, the Russians are already on ground. The Chinese are already on ground. You do not know what they can supply them with. And sometimes, even it happened in those days too, the US and the Vietnam, they thought the US was going to crush Vietnam. But what happened? They ran away too. They did not win that war. Of recent time, look at what I used to tell people of recent time, what happened in Afghanistan
and Iraq.
They ran away, they did. Yeah, and they ran away, they didn't win that war. In Libya, they ran away, they didn't win that war. If those kind of,
they didn't win.
If those kind of, yes, in those kind of caliber of people, if they don't win, how much more Nigeria? These ones, these ones, these ones that cannot face Asari, these ones. So they have to think twice before they do anything. There was a video I was expecting you to play today. You didn't even play it today.
Which one?
The one, what's this guy's name? Deji. And Asari. I wish you played it today.
I did play that 2 days ago or something. Did you not see that?
Okay.
When he said Asari was twerking.
No, because I wasn't on the program.
Tinubu. So, you are twerking too much.
Twerking.
You are twerking too much.
So that is what we are seeing. So whatever be the case, there is a narration that is going on that people are not looking at. The truth is, the pandemic is like a world war. And after each world war, there is always a reset.
Yeah.
A repositioning of things in the world, how things has to be done. After the First World War, they had it. The Second World War, they had it. That brought about United Nations, whatever, all those things. This pandemic was like a third world war. There is supposed to be a conversation, but they don't. Yes, but they don't want to go into that conversation. My brother, you know the reason they don't want to go into that conversation? They didn't want to go into it because the Africans will force themselves into that table to be among that discussion. How things will be done. That is the reason they don't want to have this conversation. They prefer to have confrontation. So everybody, the Western world, where they ruined themselves was the internet. The internet has been able to offer people ideas.
Yes.
It has been able to build ideology on people's mind. So for the fact that people have already, because before, who knows how much they buy the uranium? Nobody knows how much they buy the uranium. Nobody knows how much they buy our oil. Nobody knows
know what uranium is used for.
Uranium is.
And all those things. People are now researching minerals and they are wondering, like, wow, minerals. So this has been here. Why are they poor then?
Yes.
Why are people poor?
Exactly. And you will come out and you will label the continent that the continent is poor. Yeah. But the truth is, people are now researching. They are wondering, how are people getting all this information? And believe me, the more information you have, the more ability, I won't even call it ability, the more dynamic ability that you have recreating your world. Yes. And that's the truth is, Africa is recreating, we are recreating our world as it is right now. And nobody can stop us from doing that. That is just the conversation.
Thank you so much, Osita.
Thank you very much.
You have a good one. It's good to hear from you again, sir. Yeah. So, sorry. I thought I got you, but I'll get another person. So, thank you so much, my viewers. I have another caller. Hello there.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh
yeah. How are you?
I'm going to start by praising you a lot tonight.
Thank you.
You know, because you are a wonderful human being. You understand? Amazing, fantastic person. Do you understand? The reason why I'm saying this, you know, I haven't called in for a long time. That is the reason. And everything you have been telling us, all the stories, all the drama, there was a day I was watching you, the 17th of the 7th, 2023, Baba. You were boiling that day. You were roasting people. You were telling people how things are. Do you understand? Because people do not understand the severity of what is going on. And this is why people like us will always come on here and tell you how amazing you are. You're an amazing person. You are a fantastic human being. Because everything you see comes to pass. And I wish that a lot of people in Africa watch a program like yours so that people can see what is going on. Because when you tell us things, you show us videos to back it up. You know, when we are talking, we are just talking we're just talking to people, we're having conversations. But you come along, you back it up with facts for people to see that this is black and white. Now, I'm going to start picking up all the points that you have been mentioning throughout the program tonight. And I want people to understand there are some of us that have lived in the Western world, and we will not. This is why people are afraid of people that live in Western world when we are advising them back at home, because they think we are going to bring all the mentality of what these Europeans are doing to us back home to them. Do you understand? Because when people are suffering all over the world, you will not see Britain and America and France and everybody come out, because when you dig deep, their hands are in it. Do you understand? This is why you never see people talking about Yemen, how people are living in abject poverty there. Do you understand? People are dying. Do you understand? Because their hands are deep in it. Everywhere they go. Resources on the economy. Everywhere they go, there's always abject poverty in those places. Do you understand? They don't care about the people there.
No.
You don't. So now you want people to always live like this. You just want to continue to pass abject poverty from generation to generation to generation to generation.
The same epo that Nigeria has, the same oil that Nigeria has, right? Is what Saudi Arabia have. Saudi have gold. What do you call it? Africa have gold. But they treat Saudi with respect. But there's no respect
when we go, you know why, Baba? In the past, it is because in the past, when you see the evolution of the world, they know they cannot do things like that in all these places, because all these places are established. They are not stupid. Because I don't know everything.
They also colonize these people too. Well, guess what? You will never know, because they didn't take away their language.
You never know.
They didn't take away their culture and every other thing.
They did not.
But they did it
They
to
did
Africa.
not. Baba.
They colonized China. When I heard that China was also colonized, they didn't take their language. Today, you can't see all of these places as colonized people. Only Africa. Africa. But they colonized other places too. But they didn't take anything away from them. They took from us.
You understand? You cannot continue. You can't continue, especially the way the world is at the moment. Information travels a lot. But you understand why I am so passionate about you is because I go to other platforms to read things. And when you are talking about the move, what my is an Ifa. You are Ifa, why people don't know. Because they're all over the place. This is why people like us, we always come here. And people, if you don't like it, because at the end of the day, look at the way people, when you go to Africa, you see people living poorly, in proper poverty. Only that is suffering. You don't need to tell you. You don't need to. When you see them, you know they are suffering. And everybody because me got to live in the system. I know how it is. When I know there's no food coming from anywhere, it is so bad. It is that bad. What's one of my Lord Jagu come because if you look coming, you look my Lord Jagu. Yagidi táwọn èèyàn fẹsẹ̀ rìn kiri tó ń mọ ibi tó ń jẹ́ fẹ́ gbà wá ẹ̀wọ̀n ńlá fábà máa lọ jagun kiri. Baba, let me leave other people to talk. We are here. You see what I'm Baba.
My dear brother, God bless you. I have another call on the line. Hello there.
Hello, good evening.
Princess. So finally, you got the number now.
Yes.
Princess has been calling our old number for months now. So she found out today that the number no longer exists. And there she is.
I was on the outreach at the time you changed it. I didn't even know.
I know. You were busy at the time. It was like around June or
so. Yes.
But yeah, good to see you.
Yes.
Or hear from you.
Yeah, Michael. I have few questions here. You know, I've been wanting to ask since you started this Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso episode. You know? Bola Tinubu, he called for extraordinary submit of the ECOWAS on July 30th, He was trying to take over He was trying to go and fight in Niger, Abi.
War, Neo. We're
I
preparing
think
for war.
I
This
think
time last
war is
week.
country. My ego, I see there is no war in this country, yeah?
Already.
The end SARS, as if the Kaduna Abuja Express Road, there is no war there. They should tell the idiot that charity begins at home.
At least.
You understand what I'm saying? And there are some things that we should all think about, things that has happened in the past. Like, has the cost and the benefit analysis been done by Nigerian authorities for the short, medium, and long term of that war? Especially under the current financial problem that we are facing here. I am beginning to see ECOWAS. My ego, which money?
Weapons.
Which money? Ṣé Tinubu ti di Àṣàkẹ́, wọ́n ti gé létí lọ báyìí ni? Wọ́n ti gé etí Tinubu lọ ni? British and France promising who money? They giving the refusal to the reimbursement of the Nigerian efforts in Sierra Leone and Liberia in the past. If you can think like the past. Is Nigeria able to fund a possible war with Niger Republic?
Well,
as other ECOWAS, whatever, can join them? Can they do that? Mali is landlocked and they share border with Burkina Faso. How will they penetrate that? Mayego, you've not seen the Senegalese soldier. You've not seen them.
Well, I haven't.
Do they look like common Nigerian military boys?
No, they don't look like us. But those ones are like gorilla.
Baba.
These ones are, man, it's true. When you meet all these West African soldiers, like the Senegalese, the Malians, and the rest, you go, no, say these ones are soldiers. No fine boy, no nothing like that. Their eyes have seen shaking.
And if you're taking our men to war, have you carefully reflected on the Nigerian, the Nigerian view, the popularity, of the, do the people have opinion about this? What do the people think? Do Nigerians really want their people? Can Nigerians even fund? People are hungry. Do you know why people are not coming out to protest in Nigeria, Mayego?
Why?
Because people live one day at a time now. If you don't go out, you won't eat. We know the amount of people that beg us for money every now and then here. We know the amount of people we pay hospital bills, we pay medical bills, we give money for medications, for things that are happening to them every day. You think an hungry man will go to war? Baba, I have said it here severally. Before Osita said it this night again. Our identity has been stolen. And if your identity has been stolen, Mayegu, your life has been taken away from you. It is as simple as that. I am not giving up on this generation. No. Do you know why I'm not giving up? I have said it on this program severally. We are the leaders we have all been waiting for. Did you see that Senegalese guy? Did you see how cute that boy is? I had to send a message.
You are referring to that Burkina, the most popular among them right now is that Burkina Faso guy. The one that is, man.
He's the Burkina Faso guy.
Paid enough people on PRO.
The guy is good looking. I had to write it there. Your auntie from Nigeria is saying hello to you. Our auntie Enki, our auntie Abaya. They all go to war. If there is any war anywhere, we will stand behind him.
Princess.
We will stand behind him. France is meant to be a third world country. Have you fourth world country if there's anything like that?
Yeah.
France that is a piece of rubbish. That same France is coming out. They say, hey, Dakini, say, yeah, you see this, the way they will go about this thing now. They'll say, okay, their origin is from the black people, which is African, and if they check their DNA, they will see some sort of black. That's the new thing they will start playing around, that they are Africans too. If Africans can take, yes, The people are saying they now know the reason why they killed Gaddafi. But we knew why they killed Gaddafi. They killed Gaddafi with their media, because I don't know why a man that is in a country, if you give back, you get about $50,000, you get free land, you get free education. If you have to go out of your country to school, the state will fund that. What else do you want? There is no free electricity, free energy anywhere in the world.
Today.
There was no free energy anywhere in the world. The Libyans were using free energy, free electricity. So what else do you want? The West does not want you to prosper. They do not want it. So if they don't want you to prosper, and you see your leaders, your foolish puppet leaders, listening to their puppeteers, you should do the right thing. But Nigerians are hungry. So by the time all the African nations, bring themselves together, and they're all speaking in one word, one voice, because I don't know what Koolu wants to go and do in Niger. When Nigeria is there,
it was going there
really love the coup that happened.
No, it's going there for a peak contest.
I am happy. I am from this generation, and I am super proud of us. And I tell you tonight, and I say it to everybody, no leader is coming to save anybody. We are the leaders we have been waiting for, and we are here. And we will not live without a fight. We will make sure it should be said about us that we did our best, and our best will be good enough.
Difference. Thank you so much, Princess. That's Princess. Now, if you are still watching and you haven't really subscribed to my channel, you haven't shared this broadcast, and you've been here for like over an hour, it is time to do that now. Hello there.
Hello, Mayegun.
Sir.
Mayegun. This is Austin from Germany.
Austin.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Back again. See, you know why I don't usually call, why I don't kind of pick up on, +49 numbers mostly anymore is because, Austin, I've got so many of you now come from Germany, and I've tried it twice to say, oh, is that so and so? And it was wrong. But you've not called me in a while.
I have called so many times, but I've been trying all this while. I think last week I tried to speak with you also, but thank God that I get it today.
I'm glad you did.
It's really, sometimes sometimes when I recommend you to my friends, I said, these guys has been so amazing right from the time I know, because I knew you now.
It's been a while.
Not mistaken, it's over 10 years, because I follow you when you was Alicia. Turn the volume. I know you from the kitchen.
Talking to Alexa. Alexa, turn it off.
Yeah, exactly.
Alexa,
so
stop.
Yeah. So I have been telling my friends about you, and you keep on amazing me on a daily basis.
Thank you.
You analyze this, the way you express things, even the way I don't see things, because I'm really crazy about the whole stuff that is going in Africa. But when I listen to you, I say, wow, this guy is really amazing. So just to hang it on down from that, I really thank you a lot for what you have been doing. You have been doing good job. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Appreciate it too.
So, the next thing that I wanted to say is that I don't know how people think. I don't know how people reason. ECOWAS that is working to this white people, like Deji said that sorry, is working to Tinubu. Buhari, Shehu Shari was elected as a democratic president. Buhari was the military.
He was.
Buhari staged coup and removed him from power. There was no ECOWAS. ECOWAS did not say anything. Everybody kept quiet. Now, even Tinubu, the one that is saying that he is in power now, he is an illegitimate president.
He is.
And because he have his properties in France, because I remember when Buhari, when they subletted him, he ran away from Guinea Equatorial to France. His medications has been taken from France. He has been doing all his business in France.
That's right.
So now they want to use him to kill his own brothers. upon the whole surface, we are going to the hands of these Europeans, and our leaders want to help them. I don't even know how we reason. Sometimes I ask myself if it is the same God that we are talking about that created Blackman. I don't believe that, honestly. This is my own philosophy. Sorry about the people that are listening to me this night, because I probably think that either God was sleeping and having rest, and the angels went to roast us, and then we have this kind of mentality. I'm telling you honestly. This is my own mentality, because I don't know how a black man will see what is going on in the whole world now. The whole world is in crisis. Moreover, Europe is in crisis because of this Ukraine and Russia. They can never have their ways again. Putin have closed all the whole borders, closed everything. They are busy blackmailing Putin, talking about Putin here, Putin there, Putin. They are the ones causing the whole problem all over the world.
They were even sanctioning him, and then they have told us to start sanctioning ourselves. Imagine Nigeria sanctioning,
Niger.
Man.
Yeah, you are sanctioning them, and they are your brothers. You share common borders with them. They are even in your own military. How do Tinubu think that those military will be feeling now?
Divided, though.
Everybody knows that Buhari is not a Nigerian. Everybody knows.
Yes, now. Even Buhari himself said it himself.
Yeah, he said it. Buhari invested so much in Niger, more than in Nigeria. So everybody, how do you think even the Buhari that they're talking, Buhari will be against Tinubu soon? You will see. You will see. When they will
Austin, man, it's already happening, but it just hasn't manifested so loud yet.
Exactly. He's lucky that the Senate draw him back. If not, if you have gone there, let me assure you, Nigerian soldiers, they go collect woto. I'm not gonna lie you. I have lived in French country. I was born in French country.
Now you want to attack our country? Our country can't be like a village where everybody could just sconch. You are attacking a country. You are coming to a country. Baba, come on now. War now. War, you know, just say we give you 24 hours. Who you they give 24 hours? You they mad?
You hear what the Northerners are saying now?
What are they saying?
The Northerners they are asking Tinubu, if you have boundaries with Niger, would you declare war? That's what the Northerners are saying now. We have boundaries with them, and you want to declare war that side. Who are these war going to affect? We are the one that is going to receive it.
That's right.
That's the war. That's the risk. It can never happen. But if Tinubu try, I beg him to try, because my dream, my own expectation to see Nigeria divide in my own generation. I want Nigeria to divide, because if
Tinubu too, and most of these politicians, they want Nigeria divided. If not, all these things they are doing, they would have stopped them.
Yeah,
they are doing everything to make sure Nigeria is divided, and by the special grace of God, Austin, it will happen.
Nigeria will divide.
Make it happen.
Nigeria will divide. Nigeria will divide. Nigeria will divide. Definitely, Nigeria will divide. Thank you so much, Mayego. I really appreciate it.
You should have a wonderful, week, because we don't go another week now. So let me take this. Hello there. Bedtime. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you, Michael. How are you?
Brilliant. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a really nice show today.
Thank you.
You are doing really, really well.
Is that Charm?
Yes, it's Charm.
See? I was almost like, oh no, don't say it. I was like, no, don't say it. It may not be like, wait for. I was like, give us some more time so that I could be very sure. Yes.
Yes.
How you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm actually in England. I came to England for.
Oh yeah.
Just to see my family anyway.
Well, that's what got me at first. I was like, no, that's England. I mean, that's UK number, but could that be No.
Yeah. I've been here for a while. Anyway.
Yes, sure.
A really, really solid show today. And sometimes when I'm listening to your show, I'm thinking to myself, I want to call in and I really want to articulate my thoughts. And I've always had this thought about France. Anyone who's known me for the past 10 years, and my feelings about France, my sister will say to me, Charity, why do you hate France so much? I said, that is a third world country masquerading as a G7. That is a country that is built on the back of its African colonies. right? Keeping them impoverished. And the thing that puzzles me the most are the Africans who actually live in there, who play in their national team for a country that has impoverished your ancestral home. Let's put it that way. If you no longer want to really associate yourself, maybe you're second generation French or whatever, but I personally would not play for them. I would not represent them in any way, shape, or form. Now, when I knew that we didn't have any allies in Africa, right, it's because there's no way you have all those countries that make up the G7. They can't be ignorant about France and what it does in Africa. But yet still, no one is holding France accountable. Okay? They still come together and, we're all G7, we're all the richest countries in the whole world, blah, 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 and do all of these stupid things together. But no one has called France to order. And if they're not calling France to order, it is clear that they're all in on it.
Yes.
They are very much aware, and they are very much benefiting from the situation going on in Africa, right? And that's when, and then Obama became president. This is for anyone out there.
The wool over our eyes. So the black people are
yes,
fine.
Exactly.
See, a black man is president of America. What are you talking about? Why are you all complaining?
Why are you complaining? Yeah, exactly. Now, like your first caller, right? The first person who called in, he said he was in the military. He's been in there before, and I believe him. Because there are certain things that have done in Africa, right? That clearly the intent is to depopulate the continent. Even, for example, COVID.
Yes. Did you see their
COVID,
reaction? They were shocked the Africans are not dying.
Exactly. They were shocked that Africans were not dying.
Remember that time?
Why are they not dying? Why
even though they said Africa would die, like a lot of Africans would die because they are poor, they will not have access, they can't afford the vaccine. So definitely they are expecting Africans to be dying like flies. They were shocked.
Exactly.
And they couldn't hide it.
They were shocked. So things, when you see things like that, I believe that guy. And that's why I say, again, coming back, I'm going to tie it to Obama, right? Now, everybody claimed that Obama, a black man, this and that and the other. I don't believe that any true person who has African blood flowing in them will sit in that kind of seat of power and see the things that go on. Attend G7 meetings where you know that France is practically raping a country, bleeding a country dry, and sit in the midst of all of that.
Even though you are even from Kenya, your popsies from Kenya.
And you so-called Kenya, right? So let us tell ourselves the truth. Nobody's coming. Nobody's coming to save us. We are the only ones that are going to save ourselves. I don't know about the disintegration. I don't even know whether it's to call it this. Maybe it is. We should partition ourselves the way we were always meant to be, right? And then deal with ourselves the way we have always dealt with ourselves, in the past. Maybe with exposure and progress, we can have treaties and pacts and whatever between regions so that we can trade, we can move freely, there'll be enterprise, there'll be exchange of ideas and things like that. Maybe that's the way it's always been. Maybe democracy has never been for us. Either that or they just haven't allowed it to work properly because they keep making sure that we have people with low intelligence, people who can be easily manipulated, people who they have compromise on, right? So therefore, even if you have good intentions, you can't execute any of your good intentions because they have compromise on you. And whatever if your good intentions are going to be against them,
your people. No. If your good intention is for your people, it's 100% going to be against their interest. So if you want to care for their interest, the interest of your people will become zero, non-existent.
Exactly. So they need to keep it in such a way, and that is why when you think about Bola Tinubu and him possibly being a CIA asset, those things are not a stretch. Do you understand? It's not a massive stretch because they probably have compromise on him. Why would you become an asset? It's because they have something over you and they can use you because you have maybe a network that they can tap into. right? So why pull you? Why put you in prison when they can use you?
They can actually use you to rule the country. Wow.
Exactly. So why pull you? Imagine, and then, in fact, there's so much going on in the world. And I just believe that, them having, and I keep saying it, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the gift that keeps on giving.
He keeps giving.
Okay? He keeps on giving. Everything he does brings something else. Now, Nigerians can't say for one that they don't know who their enemies are in terms of all the crooks and the criminals that he has surrounded himself with. So if you want to start eliminating people, you know clearly where your problem is from. Now, from the same Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we now know and we are now certain that the entities like ECOWAS, African Union, and all of those, organizations are actually Western puppets. They're not there to help anybody. They're not there to solve anybody's problem, So if you don't know, now you know. Now he wants to go to war with the Nigerians. The Nigerians that are surrounding us, that are inside our own country. They will kill him first before they come and start killing the rest of us.
So when we go to it now, we'll begin to act surprised that they started bombing Lagos or doing these things here and there and say, who are those doing this? They say Nigerians in Nigeria. Okay, let's start looking for Nigerians again. Abi, the chaos that will envelop the entire region. I don't think somebody like Tinubu actually thought it. I'll probably think it through.
No, but he didn't. He didn't think it through. And I think France, in their desperation to see if they can bring that whole situation under control, failed to also really think this whole thing through. And this is where I feel they have some serious racist problems. The imagination that the black man is stupid and can be easily led. And the only reason why they have this ideas is because we continue to have people like Bola Tinubu who gives them the impression that everyone is like that. We are not, we are black, we're not stupid. Okay, we are not stupid. And I think now they've made the situation so tenuous that the youths are all rising up. You say, okay, you don't want people to die. People are already dying.
They are dying.
The women that have been widowed in Plateau, right? I mean, what do you want to tell those people?
What else do you want to
don't do anything. Don't do anything. Because people are not dying. They've just lost their husbands.
I know.
Okay? That is one night. Tomorrow night, who knows how many? We can go on and on, but let other people call.
At least, yeah. Thank you so much, Shem. I mean, it's wonderful hearing from you. In fact, having the mixture of contributors, from all ends, you made the whole thing balanced. So thank you, ma'am. So I am going to, get us. Let's take just one more. 1 second, though. Sorry, just a moment. Right, let's take one more and can call it a night. Okay. Hello there.
Hello, Mr. Mayegun.
Yes, so I've got another lady. So that makes it like a two in the whole mix, in the whole shovel. Thank you. How are you, ma?
I just even realized that you've changed the number.
Oh, you did not.
I've been trying with the old line. This is Abeke.
See, Princess was like, don't you see my Mr. Oni? Like, I bet God knows how long she's been like asking herself that, is Mayegun ignoring my call? I don't know, why is it not ringing? Or do you know where it's not going? Until today, man.
Even my children here, they have been now coming like they're coming to be like you. Analysis. They will say, when I say vernacular, when you repeat it, I've been saying it to them that in my country, they will say, don't speak vernacular.
You don't speak in vernacular.
Oh my God. All these things you're saying, when I first came into this country, one thing I learned, I realized we are so much brilliant, but we are ignorant. Ignorant, it took us to where we are today. Thanks to all the people that have been speaking, most especially our lovely brother. I forgot his name now.
Osita, which
one? Yeah, brother Osita. God bless him. Man of wisdom. You see, this is what we've been saying. I tell you, this country have really opened my mind. And I'm grateful for my own old past grandma, the way they taught me. Because I won't lie, they tell us, they make our brain be sharp and understand. I don't just know what go wrong. I don't know. But you see, everything you be saying, this thing you say today,
I will never forget. As you know, I keep saying during Abasha, I was working in airport. You know, I finished my secondary, so I was a teenager then.
Right.
My
first work.
You see, my first week in Muritala Airport, and I was like, I was all along, everything I see. May God bless my grandma's soul. I'll go back home, I'll tell grandma. She will be telling me, you know, she will tell me all this war, all the war that happened, everything, the way she was those generation. And during that time, I was so interested in politics. I like to hear history. I was so much, I want to know more. And because we are young, then they take us around all these Takwa Bay, all those, you know, they always take us on those holidays.
It does, yeah.
When you talk about
you are sounding like all these middle class, you know, children of those era. When you know,
I'm not going to deny that
school,
because
and then you know, everything was so like normal until it started going.
God bless you, God bless you, my brother. We are the Ilupeju, like when you say Ilupeju,
yeah,
you know, the day I said that in Kotishe, something has wrong. You remember from Ilupeju, there was a factory company from Egbeyemi, all those places. Those are the area I grew up.
You know, when you are going to, you see this PZ, like it's just all lines. I'm not sure they are policy there anymore.
God bless you. All those companies, you are PZ, MP, and even this this one of this you something food. God bless you. Kappa, all those places, you know, that was industrial. Industrial that they build up. Exactly. That was a lot of, because my mom supplied those company the caterer department. My mom supplied them.
Your mom must have made a lot of money, man, because we are talking about staffs that are in their thousands. When they all come out like that around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
God bless you, my brother. They will be carrying their bag. They will be going. You see, I saw the beautiful and the passion of Black people. And I was so eager to be part of those production, you know, those investment, those everything.
Wow.
But when Abacha came and before Abacha take, I don't know, there was a lot of things. When you talk about this Baba Gosde, Baba Tinubu, it's a pity.
It is.
We are young, but we don't understand what they are doing to us, our generation then, that this is what is going to come back to us. And that was why I love your program so much.
Thank you.
Not only elaborating us, not only telling us the truth, some of us are ignorant. Do you know this evening, as you started the program, I joined and I share on my Facebook to my friends on Facebook. Do you know one of my very good sister, we go to say Masalatu together, and then he said to me, Join Emma Wibekri, Emma Bain, Yotinije, Kema Warope, Emma Wolakayo. I'm sorry, I'm going to speak Yoruba here. Emma Wolakaye. You see, this person, she's somebody like me too, that a lot of people are on her shoulder. And she thought, what is happening in that continent there? Because we are other side, we are best. Abi
now, we are
he
like,
thought what that man is doing here. See man yen to shame benye o make sense. I just give you some little reasons that I understand before I make my decision that, you know what, and I think I can't have any of my children here. You know, that was my own decision. And this was 90. It wasn't 20. It was 90.
Wow.
It wasn't bad. That's why I say I went home recently. I was crying for my country, for my community. How bad and how worst it was. And do you know that time we young secondary school there, we still managed to get into little job.
And now?
So I'm asking you, Mayegun, look at that country very well. You've answered my question. You've said to me, those MP, you know them.
Yes.
Because I always hear you when you say, look where you, Pangru, all those area, our area.
I know. And
I can tell you,
back, you still have this nostalgic, kind of a remembrance about all of this. You see, you happen to be the generation who seems to enjoy a little bit more before everything finally disappeared. Like you said,
I'm not disputing it. I enjoy it because I can tell you the spirit and the energy of my late mom's grandparents is working in me.
You see that your great grandma, that your grandma, if she was into any small business, right? That business is rewarding. Our effort and everything is rewarding based on that effort.
Do you
right?
remember I said to you? Yes.
Go on, ma.
Yes. I told you, I said, people like me now, if I go back home, I will have my own company and people will benefit. I want to do that. In my country, I came to this country. I can tell you everything. Mayegun, you have not even started doing this program when I understand we are already, the whole Africa, we are under slave.
Wow.
This UK show me, and I was learning through that process, through everything. And I'm like, how did we get here? That's the question. You can see everybody. How did we get here? These people, they don't have any whatsoever good things for us. As long as we are that skin. So I'm grateful for what you are doing. Please keep doing it.
I will.
Keep liberating us because some of us, we are still sleeping. May God wake us up.
And even those who have woken up as well, we will make sure say they remain awake. Because sometimes when you wake up too much,
and may God
you
come and show us way how to get out of this. Because Ogun
God bless you, ma.
Thank you so much,
and you too.
Have a great night, sir.
And you too, ma. You have all the best. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Sham, you see, Sham went back on there and decided to come and kind of give me this. You are so kind. You know what they say, like, you are far too kind. Thank you for that, your generosity, and thank you to every one of you who have sort of added their own their own perspective to this. That's what makes Mayegun's Diary Political more interesting. And like Omobalogun said, it is not just me coming here to just talk. I had to like show you a few things, bring in some clips, bring in some documents, bring this and that, just to back whatever I'm saying. Of course, I always add my own jara. Sometimes I want to sound like, in order not to, sort of depress you. I mean, spending 3 hours with somebody that you'll be crying. Kilode, I don't want you to watch my program and be panicking. You know what I mean? Like worried or scared that way that you want to go to bed and you'll be like, well, looking at your ceiling because you can't sleep because you are just remembering everything Mayegun says. So that's why I always bring in some sort of jokes. It's not jokes. Like I just present it in a way that is lighter and then you laugh. A lot of you laugh. Share you guys. So I appreciate every one of you who make this more interesting, okay? Conversational. And it's not perfect, okay? It is not. And you don't even have to agree with us on everything we say here. But one thing that we kind of present is the opportunity to give you a chance to have more perspective about things. Of course, you will never see us supported those criminals in Nigeria, no. But even if you are supporting them, you have a chance of being honest with yourselves by being sincere. Now, Mayegun's Diary Political help you to do that. But even at that, there are still people who don't like me. Okay? They just don't like me. They like what I'm doing. Sometimes they do, but they just don't like the way I talk about these criminals because they respect them. They call them leaders, okay? And I know them and I respect them. I respect you that you don't agree with me. But one thing that you always be so grateful to me for is that if there's anybody that will tell you the truth, at least as they appear or as they are, fact from fiction, I am one of them. Mayegun will always tell you what it is. And then others, I will always tell you the peace of my mind. I don't try to make you agree with me. Or if you have a chance of agreeing with me, ask those who have been calling in. It feels better. It feels different. It feels you. Being real feels you. But if you see the truth and you are turning it over his head because you wanted to, it's probably going to make you feel bad. No, you're not doing anybody. You are doing yourself. You are doing yourself. So I have done my own parts again. I will see you some other time, okay? Thank you for spending your evening with me, as usual. And I'm so happy that a lot of you are happy that this is not in any way boring yet, okay? Anyway, it's been 10 years. I don't think I will ever be boring to you. The only thing that will happen is sometimes if I bring a topic, very, very kind of controversial topic, a lot of you will begin to feel kind of, and that happens too. It is why we call this place the Temple of Truth. Even if it makes you uncomfortable, we still have to say it, okay? And in my own word, just say your truth. Nobody go beat you, okay? Just say it. Those who are championing and then spreading fear to make you so scared, we are going to arrest you, or we're going to jail you, or we're going to take away all your privileges, or we are going to this and that. They will still do all of those things to you if they have the chance of doing them to you. Why don't you just speak your truth? Say it. Nobody go beat you like me. They know if you do anything for me. Nothing with if you do. Because I've not done anything wrong. Sure you get. I will see you some other time. Please don't stop watching Mayegun. The next time we see, it's going to be another interesting time. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Mayegun Diary politico. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń gba rìbá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún mami.
Ayé ẹ̀sùn láti.
Máyégún ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Máyégún mami.
Ayé ẹ̀sùn láti.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ayé ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lérí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.